Plan to start winning. Visualize, plan, action, success. By Darian LeCorn Williams. Introduction. Most people find it hard to become successful because they lack the understanding of what it takes. They need more knowledge to possess the critical aspect one needs to succeed, which is why I decided to write this book. I want to give you the ability to create the best possible life for yourself, but it starts with the willingness to make the changes necessary for success. Now, if you think this is a get-rich-quick type of book or a type of financial book, then I'm sorry to inform you that it's not. I recommend Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki if you want to know more about finance. This book is more about the mental aspects of success. By the end of this book, you will understand that when certain elements are applied, you will achieve your desired outcome. To become successful, one must have the discipline to endure and overcome obstacles. Success isn't a straight line. It's more like the stock market. It starts to rise, falls, increases a little further, drops again, and finally reaches its goal and becomes a successful trade. That's exactly how the path to success looks. But to start walking down that path, you need a couple of things first. These aspects are necessary for success. A universal force binds success in these aspects together in an indescribable way with human language. So, what are these aspects? The first aspect is desire. Without desire, it is impossible to achieve anything. Think about it. How can you become the greatest at something without first having the desire to do it? The simple answer is you can't. The second aspect is good habits. Good habits enable you to complete tasks without consciously thinking about them, which makes you more efficient. The final aspect you must have is the ability to take action. Without taking action, your dreams are nothing more than dreams, and the purpose of dreams is to manifest them into reality. VPAS, or VPAS, is the acronym for Visualize, Plan, Action, and Success. It means to visualize your goal, write out a plan on how to achieve it, and take action on your plan. Once you act on your plan, the result is success. VPAS is my secret formula to success. And if you're into formulas, well, I'll write it out for you. Visualize plus planning plus action equals success. V plus P plus A equals S. It's a simple formula, but only the dedicated can reap the benefits of this formula. Since I came up with this formula and applied it, my life has been excellent. I've been able to go places I've never heard of before. I've seen things I previously only saw in movies. Most importantly, my bank account grew, and my investments started earning more money. So, I want to share the knowledge I've gotten from millionaires and my own experiences to help you become the best version of yourself. I assume you are reading this book because you want to grow as a person. But warning, if you are not ready to change your lifestyle or habits, please put this book aside and read it when you are prepared to make that leap. I assure you, it will be worth it. Chapter 1. Program your mind for success. The conscious mind is powerful. It's one of the most powerful things in the universe. You use it daily, from thinking about future events to deciding what you want to eat. It's essential to your survival. The conscious mind is what makes things happen. In other words, it controls the aspect of action. Everything built by humans is because of consciousness. The pyramids of Giza, Africa, Chichen Itza, Mexico, the Great Wall of China, and the Taj Mahal are all examples of the conscious mind's capability. Beyond the physical capabilities that consciousness provides, there is something fascinating about it. This something is the reason why I'm able to write this book. It's the reason you can perceive things at all. It's because consciousness gives you awareness. But with all the fascinating things about consciousness and its power, there are limitations. Just as your body gets tired after a long day at work, so makes your mind. Your consciousness is like a smartphone in more ways than one. First, your consciousness needs to recharge to operate at its maximal ability, similar to how a smartphone must be charged to function. Secondly, your consciousness can only hold certain information without being overwhelmed, like a smartphone. What if I told you there is something more potent than consciousness? Something that always feels energized and has an infinite amount of storage. You would think that's something outside of the reach of human capabilities because everything you understand is finite and the concept of infinity seems impossible to understand. But what if I told you this infinite thing is a part of you and you can access it? Just as a smartphone relies on the cloud to store things when the phone runs out of storage, the conscious mind also relies on its equivalent to do the same and much more. This infinite thing is called the subconscious. The subconscious is a mystery. It's something you are aware of but can't consciously control. For example, you can't command your subconscious to retrieve a memory at will, but you know that memory is somewhere in your subconscious. You must trigger the subconscious for it to send your conscious mind information. But what's unique about your subconscious is that it can exist without the conscious mind, but the same can't be said for the conscious mind. The subconscious is essential for the functionality of humans. It allows your conscious minds to focus on fewer things at a given time. For example, you don't consciously think about breathing or blinking, you simply do it. Thanks to your subconscious for taking the load off your conscious mind, you can focus on a specific task without simultaneously focusing on your breathing. Your subconscious is instinctual by nature. It reacts to the way it was trained to. Wait, did you catch that? Let me repeat it 3 more times. Your subconscious is instinctual by nature. It reacts to the way it was trained to. Your subconscious is instinctual by nature. It reacts to the way it was trained to. Your subconscious is instinctual by nature. It reacts to the way it was trained to. What's the key word here? It should be obvious, right? The key word is trained. It means that you can program your subconscious mind. To become successful, your mind needs to align with your goals. You need to be able to do specific tasks without thinking about them. You need to have superior mental toughness. You need to program your mind to think of success as an instinct, so much so that every move you make is a step closer to winning without thinking about it. So, how do you program your mind for success? The key lies in your thoughts. Thoughts. Have you ever come up with the idea only to discover that someone else has already acted upon that idea? Perhaps you did come up with the idea without any outside influences, but more likely you have already seen it before, but it was buried in your subconscious memory, and something triggered that memory to return to your conscious mind, but disguised as an original thought. In other words, your thought wasn't your thought. Your mind was programmed by something external, such as a television program, a YouTube video, or even a book. Your mind is the most powerful thing in this world, yet it's easily programmable. Your mind is programmed through repetition, so the more of something you hear or see, the more likely your mind would become easily influenced by that. For example, if you constantly see ads for a particular phone game, it's more likely that you would download that game. But let's say you only see the ad for that game once, then you are less likely to download that game. Another way your mind is programmed is through a process called gamification. Do you know the satisfaction you feel when you complete a side quest in a game or when you're racking up miles on a travel card by completing a particular task? Yes, that is gamification. It's defined as a strategy that encourages high engagement using reward systems. Many companies and businesses use this strategy to engage their clients and customers. Okay, I get it. The thought of something or someone other than yourself programming your mind is hard to digest. But hear me out. The same programming techniques used against you can be used by you, for you. Let me explain. To become successful, you must be able to control your thoughts. Thoughts of negativity will only bring failure, and thinking positive thoughts when you don't feel positive is more damaging than negative thoughts. Your thoughts control your reality, but your thoughts alone don't. You must believe that the thoughts you have are true. In his book, Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill said, "Thoughts which are mixed with any feelings of emotion constitutes a magnetic force which attracts other similar or related thoughts." So, in other words, thoughts must be mixed with emotion to become a reality. I've tried many times to stay on a consistent routine, but each time I would fail and revert to my regular unproductive routine. For some reason, I couldn't stay consistent. I always knew that a new routine would help me, and I knew that it was something I wanted to do, but I kept doubting my ability to do it. I would say things like, "This is too hard, maybe tomorrow," or "I don't feel like it today." It didn't help that I was surrounded by people who were just as lazy as I was. At the time, I had accepted my fate, or what I thought was my fate, so I continued to indulge in the pleasures of unproductiveness, but it never lasted long because something deep down wanted to change my situation. Yet something was holding me back from that goal. It took me almost 3 years to understand what was holding me back. For years, I kept repeating the same cycle day after day, month after month, until the answer snuck up on me like a thief in the night. I was at work delivering steaks. That morning, everything was normal, but everything changed when I delivered to this wealthy man. I asked him, "What do you do for a living to afford all of this?" The man replied, "Your question should be, what's the mindset you must have to be able to afford this?" Before I could ask more questions, he vanished behind the door, and I was only left with a half-answered question and a $1 tip. As I was driving back to the store, I realized what was holding me back. It was me. It was my negative thoughts and my undisciplined mind that was stopping me from achieving my goal. After having this epiphany, I focused my thoughts on the positives. I began believing I could start a routine and consistently follow it. Since I understood that the mind was programmable, I employed some tactics to program my mind so I could effortlessly continue my new routine. As I've mentioned, one way the mind is programmed is through repetition. And if used correctly, you can use this technique to program your mind. But before I give you the secret sauce on how to program your mind, you must first understand how this is beneficial in becoming successful. So, we already know that positive thoughts mixed with emotion manifest your reality. But it's difficult to maintain positive thoughts all the time. And the last thing we want to do is fake positive thoughts. You don't want to fake positive thoughts because the mind knows that the emotion behind that positive thoughts is not a positive emotion. Therefore, it can't be manifested. We also know that over time, through repetition, the mind becomes easily influenced. Knowing that the mind is easily influenced through repetition, the key is to instill successful and positive thoughts repetitively. So, how do you do it? The mind is most vulnerable to sound and sight. These senses are essential in programming the mind. Now, I will tell you how to program your mind for success. Sound. Step 1. Grab a piece of paper and pen. Step 2. Write down 10 words or phrases that describe what you want to achieve. Example, plan, visualize, action, success, take risk, no excuses, be an expert, millionaire, mindfulness, giving. Step 3. Record your voice saying these words and or phrases repetitively for about 2 to 3 minutes. You can get creative with this. If you have a microphone and recording software, you can record yourself over a beat you like. This is recommended, but you don't need these things. Simply record your voice using your phone. Now you have what I like to call your personal mantra. Step 4. Listen to your recording twice daily, once in the morning and once before sleep. Having a personal mantra is essential to repetitive programming because the more you hear those repeating words, the more your mind becomes influenced by those words. And because the words you've chosen are positive and success-oriented, you enable yourself to act effortlessly on your desired goal. Sight. Step 1. Buy a corkboard. Step 2. Type words or phrases that describe your goal in a Word document. Example, plan, visualize, action, success, take risk, no excuses, be an expert, millionaire, mindfulness, giving. Step 3. Print it out. Step 4. Find pictures of things you want in life. Example, new house, new car, better health, travel destinations, etc. Step 5. Print it out. Step 6. Put it on your corkboard. Now you have a vision board. Step 7. Look at your board daily for at least 2 to 3 minutes. A vision board allows you to see your desired goal visually, and viewing it daily becomes a form of repetitive programming. As mentioned above, the more you see your goal visually, the more your mind becomes influenced by what it sees, enabling you to act effortlessly on your desired goal. There is another way you can program your mind. Many companies use this technique, which is well known in the gaming industry. If you ever play any game, you know there's always a progression system that rewards you every time you level up. This is a strategy that keeps gamers engaged. Actually, a better phrase would be, this is a strategy that keeps gamers addicted. This technique is called gamification. In its simplest state, it's a program, one that can be used to enhance your ability to achieve your goal. To use positive gamification to program your mind, you must first know what stimulates you. For example, whenever I complete a task, I check it off my to-do list. This gives me a sense of accomplishment, and I crave more. I suddenly want to become more productive. Don't confuse productive for busy, but that's a topic for a future chapter. There are endless possibilities when it comes to gamification. We have yet to scratch the surface. Positive gamification is beneficial because it allows you to become subconsciously obsessed with progression towards your goal. When you are hyper-focused on an activity, you tend to perform at your highest peak. The reason for this is that you are living in the moment. You aren't worried about anything other than completing your goal. In other words, the part of you that doubts is completely overshadowed by the part of you that acts. Once you feel the power of achieving, you want more, which can significantly benefit your productivity. But be careful because gamification can become incredibly addicting. So I recommend limiting yourself. You do not want to become so addicted to positive gamification that you forget about what's important and the goals you have set for yourself. Visualization. Pick a quiet spot, such as an empty room, and find a space on the floor where you can sit with your legs crossed. Close your eyes, keeping your back straight. As you breathe, focus all your attention on the inhale and exhale. At this point, your mind should be neither in the future nor the past, but only in the present. When your focus drifts off, calmly bring it back to your breath. Keep focusing on your breath until you are completely relaxed. Now, direct your focus towards your desired goal and picture exactly what you want to achieve. Focus on this image until it becomes vivid. Imagine the feeling you will get after achieving your goal and what it'll mean to you and what you'll be able to do to help others. Hold your focus on that vision for 1 to 2 minutes, then slowly bring your focus back to your breath. Ask yourself this question: what steps should I take to achieve this goal? Then plan those steps. Lastly, direct your focus back towards your desired goal and see your plan as successful. The unique thing about visualization is there is no correct way to do it. You can visualize on your couch, in your bed, outside on a park bench, or in meditation style with your legs crossed and half lotus. But what's even more fascinating is that kids are expert visualizers. When I was 8 years old, I would imagine scoring multiple touchdowns, then going to school the next day and signing autographs surrounded by the prettiest girls in my class. For me, that was the best thing in the world. It was like being a celebrity. That was my vision, and it was so clear that I would sometimes zone out in class and wouldn't even realize it. I was daydreaming, and most of my daydreams occurred on game day. While my dreams were somewhat impossible to achieve, I would often have my best games on the days I dreamed. One day, we had a fun day at school. The teacher brought pizza, sodas, and we watched movies all day. I had a game after school, but that was an afterthought because I was having so much fun. Needless to say, I didn't daydream that day. So what do you think happened next? A, I had the best game of my life. B, I overate pizza and got sick, so I had to sit out the game. C, I had the worst game of my life. If you answer B, congratulations, you're wrong. What ended up happening was I had the worst game of my life. Answer C. Looking back at it, the fact that I didn't visualize led to that lousy game because I didn't prepare myself mentally for what would happen. I didn't have the level of focus I otherwise would have had if I just visualized. You see, visualization is an essential step towards success. Not only is it an important step, but it's also the first step in the VPAS system. Visualize, plan, action, success. Visualizing allows you to go through scenarios in your mind and fix any mistakes before they even happen. But most importantly, it will enable you to view yourself as successful. If you are constantly feeding your mind positive messages through visualization, this subconsciously enhances your confidence, improving your overall performance. Visualization is similar to focus. To picture exactly what you want and hold that image requires considerable focus. It takes practice, so don't be discouraged if your focus wanders occasionally. Simply bring your focus back to your vision. Do it as many times as you need. Just do me one favor. Don't give up. Michael Jordan is one of the greatest athletes of all time. This man was just on another level. Did he have natural athleticism? Of course he did, but so did many other people. Was he better than 99% of people in the world at basketball? Definitely, but so was everyone else in the NBA. His ability to visualize exactly what he wanted, mixed with his burning desire to achieve his goal, set him apart from the rest. I have visualized where I wanted to be, what kind of player I wanted to become. I knew exactly where I wanted to go and focused on getting there. Michael Jordan. There are two things you need to visualize effectively. Number one, a concrete plan. Number two, a burning desire. The reason why Michael Jordan was successful was that he had a definite goal. He knew exactly what he wanted and put it into action. But before he acted on it, he first visualized it. Having a concrete plan makes it easier for the mind to focus. Instead of distributing your energy between multiple goals, it's focused only on one. This is the most effective way because concentrating all your energy towards a definite goal maximizes the effectiveness of visualization. With a concrete plan, your visualization will be clear. You will have more determination to achieve your goal, which leads us to the second thing you need to visualize effectively, a burning desire. This one is crucial. Without a burning desire, visualization is nearly non-existent. As a matter of fact, without a burning desire to accomplish your goal, it suddenly starts to feel more like a chore and less exciting. When you visualize your goal, you feel that burning desire that fuels you. The reason why I want you to feel that desire is that it will enhance your motivation. Your visions become so vivid that it feels real, and that's when the magic of it starts to manifest itself. Michael Jordan had this burning desire that was unrivaled. He could define his goal and put all his energy and passion into it. That's why he's the GOAT. Visualizing is linked to the right side of the brain. The right side of the brain governs creativity, passion, imagination, yearning, and sensuality, while the left governs analytics, strategy, logic, order, and numbers. This is important because we are primarily taught to use the left side of our brains, but studies show that we are naturally right-brain creatures. We learn best through seeing rather than listening. When we visualize, what we are doing is experiencing our desired outcome before it happens. This allows us to take steps towards our goal with confidence. As I just mentioned, we are right-brain creatures. If we take advantage of that, significant results will follow. Many people want to be successful overnight. They dream of winning the lottery, hoping all their struggles and worries will disappear forever. The thing about success is that it's relative. My definition of success may be different from your definition of success. But the thing it has in common is that it takes mental discipline to achieve any version of success to some extent. Having control over your thoughts is the foundation of what it means to be successful. Thoughts direct your reality. Therefore, constant negative thoughts manifest a negative reality, and positive thoughts manifest a positive reality. Think about it like this. If you think you will never be successful in life, the universe will give you precisely what you're thinking. But if you think you're already successful or will become successful, the universe will give you just that. Remember that your subconscious can be trained through repetition. So if you constantly feed your mind positive and successful messages, you will start believing that you can become successful. Therefore, you will. There's more to becoming successful than just visualization. That's just the first step. Don't get me wrong, visualization is a critical step. But the next step that I'm about to reveal to you is the glue. It holds everything together. So you don't want to break it because if you do, everything will start to crumble and you will have to reassemble the pieces again. So it's vital that you take notes, if you must, on this next chapter because it's an essential aspect you must apply to become successful, which is a good habit. Chapter 2, Habit. Do you know that one person who constantly complains about how they don't get enough sleep, how they're always tired, and how they must wake up too early for work or school? I'm about 100% certain that you know someone like this. And if you don't, chances are you are that person. This person can't go without a coffee or energy drink for a day. They always make excuses and never take accountability for their actions. This is someone with bad habits. If you're reading this and feel I've attacked you, great. Guess what? You've just learned something about yourself that you probably didn't know, and it hurts your ego. I know because I've been there too. But keep reading, have an open mind, and hear me out. I used to dread going to work. Every day I woke up irritated and lethargic, and I thought I wasn't a morning person. I used to blame the 12-hour shifts for my lack of sleep and living in the dorms for my inability to eat healthily. I would order pizza 2 times a week and wings 3 times a week. Luckily for me, I'm still young with a fast metabolism. I will only get about 5 to 6 hours of sleep because after work, I'll stay up a little longer to play video games. But I didn't understand that my habits stood in my way of a happier life. Once I realized that my bad habits were hindering me from having a happier life, I developed good habits such as getting proper sleep every night, exercising, meditating, and eating healthier foods. The results were terrific. I had more energy throughout the day, and as a result, my work performance grew. I took accountability for my actions and stopped blaming others for my lack of happiness. The power of habit is something that's at times indescribable. It's one of those things that you will truly understand once you do it yourself. The power of habit. Habit is a powerful thing. It all goes back to the ability to train our minds. What habit does is it allows us to do things without thinking about them. A good habit is the most underrated part of becoming successful. It's underrated because it subconsciously directs our lives. We are creatures of habit, and we need habits to function. There are 2 types of habit, positive and negative. Positive habits positively affect our life, while negative habits negatively affect our life. Negative habits include smoking, drinking, watching too much TV, laziness, and lying. Positive habits include drinking water, eating healthily, proper rest, and exercising. Negative habits destroy our health and our ambitions. But what keeps people attached to negative habits is it's comforting. When you smoke, it temporarily comforts you. It makes you feel good at that moment, but you feel like crap after smoking. Not only do you feel like shit, but your health is in jeopardy. You risk developing all sorts of cancers and lung problems. But the power of habit is so strong that you continue to do it despite the repercussions. You see, habit is formed through repetition because it's a product of the subconscious mind. Therefore, it can be trained. And as mentioned before, your subconscious mind is the most powerful thing in this universe. By gaining control over it, you can resist negative habits and start positive habits. The most successful people in the world all have positive habits because they recognize its power. They understand that positive habits give them the best opportunity to succeed. For example, when you exercise to start your morning, you are setting the standard for the day, which is productivity. Also, exercising starts the body, making it easier to want to be productive. In contrast, smoking to start the morning will only decrease your energy, making you less likely to be effective. By no means is kicking a bad habit easy. As Aristotle said, we are what we repeatedly do. It takes time and adjustment because those bad habits have become part of who you are. Although kicking a bad habit may be challenging, it is far from impossible. The easiest way to kick a bad habit is to replace it with a good one. So instead of drinking energy drinks, try drinking green tea instead. You see how replacing a bad habit is a more effective way to kicking it? Replacing it gives you a better alternative that produces similar results without harmful effects. The most challenging part in developing positive habits is starting them. The initial attempt to establish a habit is the hardest because our mind tries to resist change. We as humans are wired to want comfort. We seek comfort subconsciously every day, but when we try to change what we are comfortable with, we experience discomfort. The discomfort makes it hard to take the first step towards transforming our habits. It's like we tell ourselves that we want to change, but at the first sign of discomfort, we convince ourselves that changing isn't important to sacrifice comfort. But the truth is that we are fooling ourselves. We somehow trick our brains into thinking that changing isn't essential. We lack self-discipline. As a matter of fact, we lack the main driving force that makes us want to change our habits in the first place, and that is desire. We are taught that desire is a bad thing, albeit too much of it can be, as with anything in excess is. But the truth is that it's not a bad thing if used properly. The desire to change your habits is vital because it's the highest form of motivation. You must have a burning desire to start a positive habit and have the necessary push to put it into action. Starting a new habit can be challenging because it puts us in a state of discomfort, and nobody likes discomfort. If I could avoid discomfort without sacrificing the benefits that come out of it, I would never go near discomfort. Many fear discomfort and try to prevent it by any means necessary, but those people never make it far in life. They are usually stagnant, doing the same thing, and quite honestly, they never change. They run away from discomfort, never wanting to see what's on the other side. But what's on the other side is something beautiful. Once you face discomfort, you recognize the wonderful gift it offers: growth. Habits put our brains on autopilot. We don't have to think about it, just like we don't have to think about breathing or thinking. It becomes ingrained in our subconscious. We can use the power of habit to leverage our lives productively. Stephen Covey explains 4 quadrants of habit in his book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. 1. The procrastinator. 2. The prioritizer. 3. The yes man. 4. The slacker. The procrastinator has a habit of focusing primarily on urgent but essential things such as emergency meetings, last-minute deadlines, and crises. This quadrant usually creates a great deal of stress. The prioritizer has a habit of building relationships, learning, and being proactive. This is the most productive quadrant. The yes man has a habit of saying yes to anything unnecessary or unimportant. This quadrant is occupied by people that stay busy but are unproductive. The slacker has a habit of not doing anything important. This quadrant is the least productive and is occupied by unmotivated people. Understanding these 4 quadrants and where you stand within them is crucial because you have a self-realization of what you need to work on and what you need to keep the same. For instance, I have a problem with saying yes to everyone. My friend asked me if I want to go bowling on Saturday, and I say yes, even though I have a significant assignment that needs to be completed by Sunday. Once I get home from bowling, I realize that I only have a couple hours to complete this assignment, so I rush to finish it, unable to put forth my best effort. I received a 33% on the assignment, which dropped my grade from an 80% to a 76%. Now I'm worried I will lose my scholarship because I'm not maintaining a B average. If only I had said no and realized that my assignment was my priority, I wouldn't be in this position. Being a yes man is equivalent to being a people pleaser. We say yes out of the fear of missing out or not being liked. The problem is that it'll ultimately make you lose focus on what's a priority and what's not. After going back and reflecting on it, I understood that I needed to change my actions from now on if I wanted to achieve my goal. The most potent habit is being a prioritizer. As straightforward as it might seem, prioritizing the right thing will always lead you closer to your desired goal 100% of the time. Ultimately, it comes down to the question: is my desire to achieve my goals strong enough that I would prioritize it over temporary pleasures and unnecessary tasks that don't directly contribute to it? If so, then starting the habit of prioritizing will be essential. Below, I have created an exercise to help you take the first step towards becoming a prioritizer. Circle the correct answer. Scenario: you've chosen to become a real estate agent and know that to succeed at this job, you need to become an expert in the real estate field. This requires an immense amount of learning and experience. You have a burning desire to become the best real estate agent in the region. Note, real estate is a hyper-competitive career field with many people that have the same goal as you. What must you prioritize to achieve this goal? 1. Go partying with friends or research successful real estate agents. 2. Learn real estate laws or watch a Netflix series. 3. Scroll through social media or go out and explore the region. You see, the answer to these questions are apparent. It wasn't meant to trick you because you already knew the answers. You know how to prioritize, but is your desire strong enough to want to? The easy part is starting. The hardest part is consistency. The easiest part about developing a new habit is starting it. Some say that starting is the hardest part, but I respectfully disagree. Think about it. To start means to begin. Starting is defined as the act of coming into being. When we start something, minimal effort is applied. Anyone can start anything. Have you ever decided that you were going to read more? You bought the book, opened it, and read a few chapters, but never finished it? You see, the starting point was easy. Where it became difficult was the moment just before consistency. I like to call this the Great Wall, because this is where most people give up. They don't have the willpower to overcome this Great Wall. The Great Wall, to many people, isn't worth conquering because it requires more effort, focus, and determination than they are willing to give. In fact, some people even believe that the challenge is too difficult for them. Therefore, they choose not to even try to conquer this wall. But like fear, there is power on the other side of the Great Wall. The power you obtain from conquering the Great Wall is the master key that unlocks success. With this power, you become virtually unstoppable. You have confronted and defeated the self that held you back for so many years, and now you are in control of your own destiny. What do you call this power? Does it have a name? Have you ever heard of it before? The answer to those questions is yes, yes, and hell yes. Everyone recognizes this power, and it's not a secret. It just takes a particular person to unlock its power. The name of this power is consistency. Habits formed through willpower, determination, and focus create consistency. This is the hard part. This is where you must convert that desire to achieve your goal into action. One of the 7 deadly sins is sloth. As per this book, I define sloth as having goals you want to achieve but choosing short-term pleasures over actions that directly contribute to your long-term vision. Laziness means the lack of desire and can destroy your ambition and drive. Laziness is the obstacle between you and the other side of the Great Wall. You see, life is like a video game, and laziness is like the boss you must defeat to reach the next level. You might fail time after time, but eventually you defeat the boss and can go to the next level. You realize the boss wasn't hard after all, and you develop the skills needed to win through persistence and consistency. That's exactly how you overcome laziness. It defeats you at first. It makes you want to give up and remain in your comfort zone. So stay consistent and you will win. The comfort zone. The comfort zone is a mental state in which things are familiar to a person, and they are at ease and in control of their environment, experiencing low levels of anxiety and stress. Okay, I must admit, the comfort zone sounds fantastic. The comfort zone is the ultimate goal in life. Who wouldn't want to be in a state of mind where you control your environment and experience low anxiety and stress levels? I want to be in that state of mind, but it's too good to be true, at least initially. Hear me out. To reach this type of success, you must leave your comfort zone. Many of us have big goals and desires, but only a few will achieve those goals. The ones who understand that, to grow, you must step outside of your comfort zone, make up a small percentage of the population. The reason is that stepping out of your comfort zone is hard. It is sad to admit that most people quit when things get too complicated. Now, I'm not saying that most people don't do anything hard at all, but I'm trying to make a point that it takes a special discipline to overcome something others choose not to. To step out of your comfort zone, you have to say fuck it and do it. The number one thing that people fear most is not being stranded in an open ocean or even a spider. What people fear most is public speaking because public speaking requires you to get uncomfortable. The thought of people judging your every move and word is terrifying. You might think, what if they don't like my voice? Or what if they don't take me seriously? Well, the good news is these thoughts are normal. Even the best public speakers in the world get a little anxious before giving their speech. But what separates them from ordinary people is they say fuck it and do it. Now, stepping out of your comfort zone doesn't happen overnight. You have to say fuck it and do it many times before you are comfortable outside of your comfort zone. Like any athlete or musician, you must practice at being better at it, and eventually, it will become second nature. And stepping out of your comfort zone will be as easy as breathing. One of my most significant flaws is I hate asking people for things. I always wanted to get everything independently without asking anyone for help. I remember having almost no money in the bank. I could barely afford to buy myself a 4 for $4 from Wendy's. I needed to pay the insurance on my 2000 Honda Civic, and my credit score was so low no one would approve me for a credit card. I was trying to make the payments on time to no avail, so there was only one choice left. I had to ask my dad for $180. This was a terrifying question I had to ask, but I did, and to my surprise, he gave me the money I needed to make the payment. I immediately vowed that I would never need help to pay bills again. Did you notice something I did in that story? I stepped out of my comfort zone. It wasn't easy, but when my back was against the wall, I said fuck it and did it. We've gone over the power of habit and how to step out of your comfort zone, but you need consistency to maintain a habit. Consistency. We all know that one person who makes a New Year's resolution every year to start going to the gym, and by the end of next year, they will have achieved their fitness goals. They fantasize about how much this will improve their quality of life. They begin the new year by opening a gym membership at Planet Fitness. The employees give them a tour of the facility. Now they are motivated to get started. The next day, they are excited to start their new journey in life. Upon arrival, the adrenaline mixed with nervousness rushes over them like an Olympic athlete competing for the first time on national television. After their first workout, they feel euphoric because they have officially completed the first step in their new journey. This is a significant accomplishment because the most challenging part about starting a habit is taking the first step. But over the next few days, the workouts become progressively shorter and shorter, and the motivation for going to the gym begins to fade little by little to the point where they stop going altogether. That leads us to the second most challenging part of creating a habit: consistency. My definition of consistency is the ability to perform a task repeatedly every day without stoppage for an extended period. Many people fail in this area because they don't define the why. Why do I want to go to the gym? The key here is to answer your why strongly. You need to write your answer out in detail so that you understand the significance of your why. Example 1. Why do I want to go to the gym? Bad answer. Because I want to look better. Example 2. Why do I want to go to the gym? Good answer. I want to go to the gym because of the opportunities a healthy life will afford me, such as better job opportunities, a longer lifespan, a lower chance for illness, more attractiveness, and more energy. With example 1, there is no motivating factor outside of the superstition of looking better, and more is needed to keep you motivated for an extended period. With example 2, you have clear, concise, and intense reasons to answer your why. When choosing the answers for your why, you want to name the benefits and opportunities clearly. But it is not enough to say your why. I want you to write your why and the answer on it on a piece of paper. Put it somewhere convenient for you. Then look at your writing daily to remind yourself that you mean business and you will accomplish your goals by any means necessary. To become consistent, you must complete the task even when you don't feel like it. That's why this is the second most challenging part of creating a habit. Sometimes you will dread completing whatever goal you have set for yourself. But that's when you must remember your why. Remember what's at stake if you don't continue. If you aren't willing to risk the stakes over your why, then you must create a more substantial why, because you must be able to program your mind in such a way that you believe your why is the main priority in your life. You must find that inner desire that burns your core so much that failing to continue isn't an option. In other words, you have to want it. Consistency is powerful because it allows you to reap the reward of progress. Let me tell you, that's one hell of a prize. Progress is like a healthy drug. It indicates that if you keep pushing, you will meet your goal. It also gives you a sense of happiness, satisfaction, and motivation. They say it takes 21 days to develop a habit and 6 months to become a lifestyle. This can only be achieved through consistency. My mother, who was one of the biggest inspirations in my life, never had it easy in life. She had me when she was only 18 years old, and as a teenage mother, life can be tough to handle. She had my sister 2 years later, and my brother 8 years after that. My mother had 2 choices to make. She could raise us, or she can give us up for adoption and continue to live her life without children. Not only did she choose to raise us, but she was also a full-time employee and a college student. Anyone who has ever raised children knows that it isn't easy and it can be exhausting, but she didn't let life challenges defeat her. She was consistent in every aspect of life. At school, she graduated with a 4.0 GPA and received the honor of summa cum laude, then eventually graduated with a master's degree in business. At home, she raised 3 intelligent and respectful kids who are accomplishing amazing things in life. Shout out to my sister Michaela and my brother Zan. She was always considered an excellent employee, winning numerous Employee of the Month and Year awards. I call my mom Wonder Woman because she was able to do something many people would never even attempt to try. She is truly a Wonder Woman. The main message of this story is not to explain how awesome my mother is, but to reiterate the power of consistency. You see, everything she accomplished wouldn't have been possible if she had decided to stop and give up. She achieved these things through desire, motivation, and most importantly, consistency. Next time you feel a lack of motivation and want to call it quits, refer to this story and always remember the answer to your why. Chapter 3, Setting Goals. In the first 2 chapters, we went over how to wire your mind to be prepared for success. It is imperative that you have these intangibles because they are the foundations you will need to successfully move forward in the following chapters. What these intangibles provide is the correct mindset and motivation to act on whatever goal you set for yourself. But before you can act, you must first make a plan. The master plan. Remember how we talked about the importance of visualizing and how visualizing allows you to go through scenarios in your mind, fix any mistakes before they even happen, and allows you to view yourself as successful? While that is true, there's still another step in the process that is vital to achieving your goals. You know how yogi gurus teach about going with the flow? While that's not necessarily a bad thing in some aspects of life like creativity, it is horrible to do when you are trying to achieve your goals and becoming successful. The main component in success is structure. You must have a plan. Apple Incorporated, a globally recognized brand, didn't achieve this status by going with the flow. Although many ideas came from going with the flow, those ideas mean nothing if you don't write it out and make a plan. When making a plan, you want to think big. If it sounds impossible, don't worry, still make that plan. You see, your ideas only seem impossible because no one has ever done it before. Before the invention of the airplane, many people thought it was impossible to make a piece of metal fly through the sky. But the Wright brothers made the plane anyways, despite what others thought would never be accomplished. Are you ready to create a master plan? Well, let's go. When creating a master plan, you want to be as detailed as possible because the more detailed your plan is, the easier it will be to follow. I like to use a process called reverse planning. This is a planning technique that I've learned in the military, but with the twist of my own. Step 1. The title of your master plan should be your main goal. Write it as big or as fancy as you want it to be. You want the title to be the first thing your eyes lock onto when looking at your master plan. Step 2. Write down your why. Step 3. Write down the first step you need to take towards achieving your goal. Step 4. Write down the second step you need to take towards achieving your goal. And so on until you reach your goal. Step 5. Take step 3 and 4 and switch it. One thing I've noticed about most books I've read is that it'll tell you the steps but won't provide any examples. And I understand some people are visual learners. So to see an example of the master plan, refer to pages 32 and 33 in the physical copy of the book. Set small goals. Planning can be overwhelming at times. You start to look at the list of things you need to do to achieve your main goal, and it may seem like it's going to be harder than you originally thought to complete. This is where setting small goals comes into play. Many people underestimate the power of setting small goals, but because you are reading this book, you will understand that these small goals will be the building blocks that will make it easier for you to achieve your main goal. So, what are small goals? Small goals are daily tasks that enable you to effortlessly transition from task to task without feeling overwhelmed. The interesting thing about small goals is that they are simple yet effective. They can be something you think has nothing to do with your goals, but actually enhance the likelihood that you will achieve them. In a way, small goals are like second cousins to consistency. Yet there is scientific proof that can be explained as to why setting small goals are effective. Take eating breakfast, for example. If you have a habit of skipping out on breakfast, that tends to lower your amount of energy you have throughout the day. You may feel lethargic, sluggish, or even tired. Simply setting a goal of eating breakfast every day and acting on it will give you more energy to attack the day. Do you see how this correlates to your ability to complete tasks? Well, here is one more example. Saving a percentage of each paycheck so that you can buy an ATM is a small goal that doesn't require much effort, but over time, it enhances the likelihood that you will be able to achieve your goal of buying an ATM. You see, setting goals is linked with euphoria and motivation. Every time you complete a task, it makes you feel good and motivates you to complete another task. But as most of us know, the feeling of happiness and motivation have a time limit. This is the point where the importance of setting small goals should click inside your head, because what I'm about to tell you is why setting small goals is the secret formula to infinite motivation and the cheat code to consistency. As noted above, when you set and achieve goals, you feel good and motivated to complete more tasks. But there is a time limit for how long it lasts. This is where setting small goals comes into play. The secret to infinite motivation and consistency is constantly producing feelings of happiness and motivation, and you will do this by setting small goals. Every time you complete a small task, your brain produces euphoria. You start to want more of it. The key is to have a series of small tasks that are easily completable. This will produce an infinite amount of motivation that will then lead to good habits and consistency. When I was deployed, I used these same secrets to keep me motivated and focused on my goals that I wanted to achieve over those 6 months. The first thing I did was create a list of all the goals I wanted to achieve while I was deployed. I made a detailed guide for how I was going to achieve each goal. I even created a highly detailed schedule for how much time I should spend on each task to achieve my goals. Once deployed, it was time to follow my master plan. I set series of small goals such as spending 10 minutes every day learning Spanish on Duolingo. This was strategically placed into my schedule because I understood that after completing a simple task, it would motivate me to complete more tasks. I developed 3 small goals that I would complete daily so that I was able to tap into that infinite source of motivation. After completing these tasks, over time it became second nature. I had developed a habit which came from consistency, that came from setting small goals. At the end of my deployment, I was able to complete 100% of my goals I had set out to achieve, and that was only because I knew the secret to infinite motivation. I want you to be able to tap into this amazing source, but merely reading about it is only halfway there. It is ultimately up to you to take this knowledge and put it into action, which is the third step of the VPAS system. Once you have mastered visualization and planning, you are one step closer to success. In the next chapter, I'm going to guide you through how to act on your plan successfully and why most people can't get past this part. I'm so excited for you to read this next chapter because while each category in the VPAS system is important, you can't have one without the other. Action is what will lead you to success. Chapter 4. Take action. How can you ever hope to accomplish anything without acting? The answer is you can't. More than ideas alone are required to lead you to success. Chichen Itza, located in Yucatan, Mexico, is one of the most incredible structures ever built by man. I had a fantastic opportunity to visit it in the summer of 2022, and it was one of the most fascinating and beautiful things I have ever seen. If you have the opportunity to visit Chichen Itza, I highly recommend it. Outside of its beauty, there are a few things that are so captivating. At times, it seems impossible to believe. You have no choice but to accept because the facts are right in front of you. Every detail of the pyramid is so precisely laid out that you would think that aliens from another galaxy came to Earth with their superior knowledge and created it. Every depiction, picture, and carving have a unique story, and every angle has a mathematical reason behind it. Even the location was strategically placed over an underground cenote so that they could collect fresh water with concealment from animals and without leaving the area. This amazing structure started as an idea. Without this idea, there would be no source of inspiration to create. Ideas help you imagine what you want to manifest. Next came the plan. A master plan was developed to organize the thoughts to effectively transfer the ideas to the real world. The real success, however, came from putting the plan into action. Acting on the master plan physically created one of the world's greatest wonders, and millions of people travel every year to see it. Everything seems so simple when you are reading it, but putting it into action is challenging, and that's why many people struggle to get over that hump. The ones who do, however, are rewarded with satisfaction of accomplishment and praise by their peers. Two reasons why acting on your plans is challenging are fear and procrastination. Fear. People tend to fear what they cannot see or predict. The thought of uncertainty has made more quitters than the Oklahoma drill has made basketball players. But if you look deeper into the fear of uncertainty, you will find that the only fear that exists here is the fear of failure. And that makes sense because everyone has a fear of failure to some degree. I have seen many situations in which a person is expected to pursue a particular career, let's say becoming a doctor. This person studies hard, misses social gatherings, and sacrifices sleep. This person isn't happy because this is not what they want to do in life, but they feel pressured to make their family proud. This person does not want to let them down, but the fear of failure has stressed this person's life unnecessarily. The fear of failure can strike in multiple directions. The story above showed how the fear of failure could cause unnecessary stress in a person's life. A lot of times when people are scared to fail, they won't even try. They see failure as the ultimate loss in life. This pessimistic view of failure is what leads to complacency. Because they are afraid of taking risks, it's safer to settle for something stable and proven. If you're reading this book right now, the previous statement should disgust you. And if it doesn't, finish reading the book, then come back to this page and reread it. The reason I emphasize this is, contrary to the pessimistic view of failure, failure is something that you should embrace. Why should I embrace failure? Isn't failure bad? You might be thinking these questions right now. Luckily for you, I will explain why. You should embrace failure because it is a learning opportunity. Every time you fail, you learn what not to do. You also learn what you could have done better. Failure is the best teacher. So, to answer question number 2, failure is okay. Failure, however, is detrimental if you do not learn from it. Fear of failure limits your opportunities. I believe that opportunities will find those who actively create opportunities for themselves. If fear keeps you from acting on your plans, then fear controls you, and you cannot create opportunities for yourself. If I were you, I would remove from my brain the toxic thought that luck is given at random. We have been taught that opportunities and luck are different phenomena, but both happen randomly. Take the lottery, for example. It's a chance-based game that randomly chooses a winner who is rewarded with a large sum of money. The lottery is programming the idea that luck and opportunity can find anyone without actively creating it for yourself. This isn't true. To put it into perspective, you have a 0.000007% chance of winning the lottery. There is a 32% chance of earning a $1 million net worth in the United States of America. So, you have a better chance to earn $1 million than you have by winning the lottery. I want you to go back and reread the last 3 sentences, but this time pay attention to the word earn. Do it now. I want you to pay attention to the word earn because the word earn means to create through work. Creating through work is creating opportunities. The statistic didn't say there was a 32% chance of receiving $1 million. It meant there is a 32% chance to obtain $1 million if you create the opportunity to do so through work. Okay, it's time for me to be brutally honest with you. You can make the decision now to separate yourself from everyone else because most people are unwilling to do what it takes to succeed. So, if you can be the person who actively does what it takes to reach your goal, you instantly have the capability to attract opportunities and luck into your life. Procrastination. We all have been victims of procrastination at some point in our lives. When I was in high school, I was the biggest procrastinator there was. I would wait until the day before a big project was due to do it. At the time, procrastination wasn't a big deal because I knew I could put in the most minuscule effort and still receive a B on a project. It wasn't until I stepped into the real world that I started to understand the detrimental downsides of procrastination. Procrastination is one of, if not the most significant problems people have in their working life. Humans are naturally lazy, but to succeed in life, we must overcome this challenge. When you procrastinate, you aren't putting forth your best effort. which will show in your work. Remember, when you are on your journey to success, you are not only competing with yourself, but with other people who have the same goal as you. This means that you must be active and focused. The only person with the advantage is the person who visualizes, plans, and take action, not the person who imagines, does not plan, and waits to take action. When you procrastinate, you do not have time to make and organize plans. Therefore, you do not have a direct path to success, whereas the person who doesn't procrastinate has already developed a plan and organized it so that when they begin to act on it, they know exactly what must be done to meet their goal. I need you to understand that procrastination is the biggest killer of dreams. People procrastinate because they believe they have better things they could be doing. But let's be honest, they're either scrolling through social media, absorbing mind-numbing content, or watching a Netflix series that has nothing to do with their goals. If you have goals and dreams, you must be able to sacrifice temporary pleasure for long-term gains. It's okay to relax and watch Netflix. As a matter of fact, I encourage you to relax and get away from the grind because it's good for your mental health. But if you're constantly putting those things off that are beneficial in reaching your goal for temporary pleasures, then you will never make it. That's the hard truth. If your goals aren't more important than scrolling through social media and watching Netflix, the competition will destroy you. The good thing is, you're here reading this book right now, which means that you have goals so important to you that you're willing to sacrifice those temporary comforts to develop your mindset into a successful one. One thing I will talk about in detail later in this book is desire. Desire is the kryptonite of procrastination. The burning desire to reach your goal and do it better than anyone else will eliminate procrastination 100% of the time. When you have the desire to be the best at what you do, then there is no space for procrastination to creep in because your mind is so focused on this goal and doing it better than the competition that you would become almost obsessive. And where there is obsession, there is no procrastination. Taking accountability. Most people have goals, but when met with the question, when are you going to start pursuing your goals? A standard answer is when the time is right. This answer is so popular because we seem to think we aren't ready yet. We feel that we don't possess the skills or the know-how to pursue our goals successfully. My goal is to keep it 100% transparent with you. The perfect time doesn't exist. Get that out of your head right now. If you keep waiting, you are wasting your time. And you know how valuable time is for people like us. Time must be used with purpose. When you say you are waiting for the perfect time, I hear, I'm afraid to start right now because I might fail. I will be the first to tell you that you must get comfortable with the risk of failure. Man has achieved great things with failure as a teacher. If you want to achieve your goals, you must start now. Believe in your master plan and be confident you have what it takes to succeed. Everyone must start from the bottom and grind their way up the ladder. By starting after you make your master plan, you will put yourself in a position for new opportunities. If you choose to wait for the non-existent perfect time, you will soon find yourself unmotivated and losing confidence with every passing day. Remember, the path to success is not a straight line. It's more like the stock market. Scary and risky short term, but worth it and stable long term. If I were to ask the same question, when are you going to start pursuing your goals, but differently, the answer would change drastically. Let's rephrase the question to, why haven't you started pursuing your goal yet? The answer you get when you ask the question this way reveals the truth. Instead of a favorable response, you get one filled with excuses. I'll show you an example. Me, why haven't you started pursuing your goal yet? Them, because I don't have enough time. I have to take care of my dog. I'm always tired. I need time to relax. What do you see in this response? If you see what I see, then you see nothing but excuses. Now, I know this statement might trigger some people, but understand that you are not reading this book to read what you want to read. You are here to read what you need to read. Let me explain why the answer is riddled with excuses. You see, everything about this answer is controllable. That means you have control over your time and lack of sleep. Time management needs to be improved. I will talk about that briefly next. But what's important to understand here is that making excuses mean you are not holding yourself accountable. My definition of holding yourself accountable is admitting to your faults, realizing that you are in control, then changing them to create a better situation. Taking accountability will vastly improve your chances of success. When you are accountable, you learn and can make changes as needed. For example, if you are always tired because you stay up all night watching television, then admit that staying up late is the cause of your tiredness. Once you have admitted that to yourself, you must find the solution and apply it to your life. Say to yourself, the solution to my tiredness is getting enough sleep. I will start sleeping at 9 p.m. every night so I won't be tired. The more you take accountability for your actions, the more successful you will become. It makes you more likable, and people will want to associate with you. This is a fantastic reputation because it provides you with more opportunities. As we know, opportunities are the secret to success. Life consists of polarity. You have good and evil, hot and cold, love and hate, and accountability and excuses. In essence, each opposite exists on the same pole. Essentially, they are composed of the same elements but live on the opposite sides of the same pole. I say all of this to say this. It requires the same amount of energy to be accountable as it does to make excuses. But the outcome of where you put that energy will determine how successful or unsuccessful you will become. Nobody likes a person filled with excuses. Have you ever invited someone to hang out, but they ended up canceling and had an excuse for not coming? Most likely, you will understand the first and second time, but eventually, the excuses become so redundant that you would rather them tell you straight up that they aren't coming. At this point, the excuses become so intolerable that the person loses credibility and reputation. I'm not saying there's no such thing as a valid excuse, but I'm trying to point out that having a reputation as someone who makes excuses paints the picture that you are not a reliable person. This can negatively affect your life. If you constantly make excuses instead of being honest or taking accountability, you will not go far in life. It's as simple as that. You must be able to let go of your ego and have the ability to admit to your faults. Doing so only makes you a better person and increases the number of opportunities you will have. Success requires you to stop making excuses. Time management is a skill that only some people have. We underestimate how much time we have in a day. I used to underestimate how much time I had in a day, but that was before I knew how to manage my time. Time management is possessing the ability to organize your day effectively. If you believe you need more time to learn a new skill, I want you to evaluate your daily schedule. If you find that you are spending 8+ hours a day on your phone or 4+ hours of your day watching movies and television shows, then you have more than enough time to clear up some space to learn a valuable skill. Shaving even an hour from your phone use time and replacing it with learning a new skill will make a tremendous difference in your life. After replacing 1 hour of your time with learning a new skill, you still have over 7+ hours of free/phone time left. You can substitute another hour of phone time with the gym and so on. Do you see how you can drastically increase your self-value by managing your time properly? Not only that, but time management is an enemy of procrastination. It allows you to be put in a situation where winning is of greater odds than losing. Being present. One of my favorite things to do is meditate. A lot of people have this misconception about people who meditate. They believe we are a cult of crystal worshiping freaks. But even though those opinions are based purely on ignorance, meditation works. For those who have an open mind, let me explain meditation and how it helps you on your journey to success. You can't put meditation in a box and say, this is what it is and nothing else, because there are various ways to meditate. For example, therapists recommend meditation to slow the heart rate down and relieve anxiety. The military used a shortened version of meditation called tactical breathing that enables soldiers to calm down and relax before going into battle to promote higher performance. Meditation is a teacher. It teaches you how to be in the present moment. What that means is that you are focused on what is happening now. You aren't thinking about the past or the future. You are only focused on the present. When acting on your plans, you want to remain in the present. This is because you have no distractions in the present. When you start to think of the past, you slow down your progress, and sometimes you can get discouraged. Know that the past doesn't define your present. When you start thinking about the future, you also slow down your progress because you begin to daydream. Often that ends in dismantling your plans because you've come up with a different one. But you must stay persistent and confident in your original plan. Changing plans is okay, But when it happens frequently, it becomes problematic. So, be in the present moment. Once you've accomplished your goal, feel free to go back and analyze and come up with new ideas. But while you are acting on your plan, stay focused on the now. Take calculated risks. How scary is taking risks? It's about as frightening as being stranded in the ocean, alone in a canoe in the middle of the night. Yeah, it's terrifying. There's only two types of risk: dumb risk and calculated risk. I will tell you now, do not take a dumb risk. A dumb risk is equivalent to going all in on a game of poker in which your two cards are a 3 of hearts and a 7 of spades. But on the table there are 2 jacks, 2 queens, and an ace of spades. Your chances are low, like meager. Dumb risk will cause you to lose faster than you began. A dumb risk is born out of ignorance, greed, and impatience. Some might take a dumb risk because a non-credible source informed them they should take it. This is a dumb risk out of ignorance. In a more likely case, a person's insatiable greed may cause them to take an ill-advised risk with total disregard for logic in hopes of hitting big. Lastly, a person who wants to make money fast can easily be manipulated into a money-making scheme only to find out that someone has hacked their account and stole all their money. There has been plenty of cases where a person has taken a dumb risk and succeeded, but the odds were not in their favor. They were essentially gambling. So let me tell you why calculated risks are the way to go and why it's so different from gambling. Most self-made millionaires didn't become millionaires by luck. They didn't gamble their entire life savings and by some mysterious chance become instantly rich, nor did they make a wish to a genie who granted their wish. These people had a vision, a plan, and took calculated risks to reach their position. A calculated risk is only calculated because you've created a master plan. Your master plan is the roadmap to your destination. All you must do now is take a chance on yourself. Taking a calculated risk is not a gamble. Just like with anything in life, nothing is guaranteed. We choose what gives us the best chance to win. The fact that you have a master plan significantly increases your chance of success when compared to taking a dumb risk. This is because all of your moves are written down. You know precisely what you must do, how you must do it, and when it should be completed. Believe it or not, this adds so much value. When you are taking a calculated risk, you must consider failure. At the end of the day, a calculated risk is still a risk. Ask yourself, what is the worst that would happen if I were to fail? Would I still be able to live comfortably? Will I have enough money to pay bills? Can I start over? If the answer to all of these questions is yes, then the risk is absolutely worth taking. Look, you can never hope to achieve your goal if you don't take risks. Risks are a part of the process, and it's something that is outside of your control. But what is in your control is how you go about taking those risks. Do you take risks based on ignorance, greed, or impatience? Obviously not. Or do you follow your master plan and bet on yourself? Jay-Z is one of the most successful hip-hop artists of all time. His life seems to be in a constant state of taking calculated risks. Even from the beginning, when hip-hop was a demanding industry to get into, Jay-Z had to take many risks to get there. But he remained confident in his rapping skills and master planned that he would succeed, and indeed he did. Today, Jay-Z is known not only as a rap legend, but also as a business legend. Despite adversity, because he was a black businessman trying to do a white man's job, he stuck to his plan, accomplished amazing things, and proved everyone wrong. Using these principles taught in this chapter will benefit you in all aspects of success, however you define it. Understanding that overcoming the fear of failure will open sides of you that you never knew existed. It will boost your self-esteem to a level that will make you addicted to facing your fears. Remember to avoid procrastination at all costs, because that's where dreams go to die. Always take accountability for your actions, for this will open many opportunities for you. And we know that maximizing the number of opportunities you receive plays a significant role in the likelihood of becoming successful. Lastly, take calculated risks. Every significant risk you take should come after you have created a master plan. Taking dumb risks without first planning is a recipe for disaster. Chapter 5. Sex Energy. Sex energy is the single most powerful energy we possess. Napoleon Hill described in his famous book, Think and Grow Rich, that sex energy is the most significant force that promotes action. In other words, sex energy is synonymous with ambition. It is the main driving force that enables us to achieve our goals. When you can control this energy, you instantly become a magnet that attracts things you desire most. This is because sex energy strengthens your willpower. Willpower is defined as the ability to continue even when things are difficult through pure desire and persistence. Many people find it hard to attain strong willpower because it requires a lot of energy and effort. Willpower is like a muscle. The more you exercise it, the better you will use it. The best way to practice willpower is by controlling your sexual urges. If you can resist the temptation to release sex energy, you can do anything because this is probably the hardest thing to abstain from, with others being food, alcohol, and drugs. Sex energy is so powerful that it controls many of us. Sometimes we don't think about it, but it affects our decisions and often impairs our judgment and clarity. For example, you might make someone your significant other purely out of lust. Usually, dating someone for that reason ends rather poorly. But because your sex energy controls your actions, you could not choose a partner that satisfies your entire being outside of just sex. I want you to be fully in control of your sex energy. This will enable you to make clear and definite decisions. When your mind controls your sex energy, you become an influential person. You start to attract better things in your life, such as women, men, money, and opportunities. You become the master of yourself. Many benefits come from tapping into this power, and like with anything, overindulging in sex is a bad thing. Your energy depletes, and you start to feel lethargic. Even the act of having sex becomes rather lifeless if you overindulge in it. If you are a goal-oriented person, read this carefully because I am about to tell you how to use this energy to help you achieve your goals. Not only will this help you achieve your goals, but it will enable you to have complete control over your sexual urges, which will make you an unstoppable force that attracts what you desire in life. Sexual transmutation. I learned about sexual transmutation when I was around 20 years old when I stumbled across a YouTube video that explained the science and metaphysics of this phenomenon. At the time, I was skeptical because by nature, I questioned everything that I haven't done myself. I brushed this idea aside and didn't care to practice it. It wasn't until Napoleon Hill, author of Think and Grow Rich, explained the benefits and practical uses of sexual transmutation that I regained interest in it. I started by experimenting with celibacy for 2 months. The main goal was to test my self-control and willpower. I completed my 2 months of abstinence, which is celibacy, but there were some things that I noticed. I noticed that I could fall asleep much easier, and my quality of sleep was better. Because of these factors, I became more focused and aware of my surroundings. Going to work didn't feel as much as a chore, and my mood throughout the day was happier. Before practicing celibacy, I would have little patience for my coworkers, and little things would irritate me. But after practicing abstinence, I developed more tolerance and had a natural calmness that I never felt before. At this point, I was convinced, but there was still this lingering curiosity for what I have learned from Napoleon Hill. I wanted to know if it was really possible to transmute my sexual energy to help me achieve my goals. The answer to that, my friends, is yes, 1000% yes. There are 3 aspects that I transmuted my sexual energy towards, and those are exercising, accumulating knowledge, and job performance. Before I explain how I use sexual transmutation to enhance these 3 aspects, I want to reiterate that sexual transmutation requires discipline and a burning desire for whatever you want to achieve for it to work. You must stay focused. If you think that you can transmute your sexual energy without practicing celibacy first, then you will soon find that no positive results will manifest. This isn't something that you skip steps and still achieve results. So I must warn you, before you try sexual transmutation, make sure that you have the discipline to follow through with all of the steps mentioned above. Although it is a difficult task, the results will speak for themselves, and you will find yourself in the hands of success. The first aspect in which I used sexual transmutation was exercising. At this point, I was celibate for 2 months. My energy was high, and I was feeling good about life. I've been going to the gym since I was in the 9th grade. So it was part of my lifestyle, but occasionally I cheated myself and ended the workout sessions early. Sometimes I would skip going to the gym altogether because I didn't feel like working out. I was very inconsistent, so much so that I would not go to the gym for months before returning. I never felt good about missing workouts, but the comfort of skipping the gym became a habit. I didn't have the energy to go some days, and it wasn't that good when I did work out. I became frustrated with my lack of consistency and discipline. But then I remember I could transmute my sexual energy towards becoming consistent and intense in the gym. Here's how I did it. I sat down in a half lotus pose with my eyes shut, then took 10 deep breaths slowly to relax my heart rate. I began visualizing my sexual energy moving up from my genitals to my brain. Next, I focused on my thoughts and desires of my gym goals. Be very specific with your thoughts. For example, I thought about the motivating factors that inspired me to want to become more consistent. I thought exercising consistently would benefit my health and the confidence I would gain. I thought about how it would inspire and impact the people around me and improve my life. Finally, I thought about the opportunities that might present themselves and how consistently exercising would benefit my future kids' health. I then shifted my thoughts to my desires. I desired to look better, get stronger, live better, have better sex with my future partner, and feel better. These desires were so strong that I believed if I remained consistent, all my desires would come to fruition. Before opening my eyes, I took 10 more deep breaths slowly, and when I opened my eyes, I felt a type of motivation that I had never felt before. I felt a kind of certainty that I have never felt before. I was confident that I would achieve my gym goals. To ensure that I maintained this level of motivation and assurance, I meditated on this 3 times a week. After transmuting my sexual energy towards my gym goals, I had more energy and my workout's intensity increased. Sexual transmutation had worked so well that going to the gym became the highlight of my day. I looked forward to making progress and the satisfying feeling I got after completing my workouts. I went as far as to see a nutritionist to develop better eating habits and a healthier lifestyle. After a couple of months of consistently exercising and noticing the effectiveness of sexual transmutation, I figured I'd apply it to another goal, acquiring more knowledge. I've always been interested in learning. I love to learn about everything, with my favorites being history and philosophy. I knew that knowledge was the gateway to success and applying it was the key, but I needed to include a vital piece. That piece was the energy to stay consistently focused on learning. At this point, I had recently started college again. This was my second chance to improve and become more serious about my education. The first time I went to college, I was straight out of high school, rebellious and immature. I had this preconceived notion that I could skate through college as I did in high school. Man, was I wrong. I partied too much and didn't attend my classes as I should have. My focus then was football and girls. I ended the semester on academic probation and wasn't allowed to play football because I had an awful GPA of 1.8. I was zero point 0.2 away from being able to play football. As you can imagine, I was devastated. I lost all motivation for school and football. This ultimately led to withdrawing from school after 1 semester and $3,000 in debt. I had to grow up and step into the real world. I had the opportunity to continue my college career again, but I knew I needed to move differently this time. I thought, if sexual transmutation worked for my gym goals, surely it would work for my educational goals as well. So, once again, I sat down in half lotus pose, took 10 deep breaths slowly, visualized my sexual energy moving up from my genitals to my brain, then focused my thoughts and desires towards my educational goals, being particular with my thoughts. I finished by taking 10 more deep breaths slowly before opening my eyes. It happened again. Once I opened my eyes, I felt a sense of motivation and certainty that I only felt once before. I just knew college this time would be different. I felt it in my soul. After the first semester of school, I had a 3.5 GPA, my highest GPA since middle school. As of writing this book, I now only have a couple more credits to get before I graduate with my bachelor's degree because of the power and effectiveness of sexual transmutation. I understand how life-changing sexual transmutation is, and that's why I apply it to any goal I have difficulty focusing on. I don't know if you're convinced yet. Are you still doubting the effectiveness of sexual transmutation? If so, let me give you one more example of its effectiveness. Job performance is vital today. Good job performance gives people the best opportunity to elevate within their company. If you are a good employee and constantly perform well, then you will elevate to a status of manager and so on. If you are an entrepreneur, work performance is the most important thing you need to build your business and satisfy your customers. If your job performance is weak, people will not trust you and your service. If your job performance is exceptional, People will gravitate towards you because they will trust you and feel confident that your services will satisfy them and be of good quality. Before I began my real estate career, I had yet to make a definite plan about what I would do in the future. I trusted that I would find this answer in time, and indeed I did. There were various opinions on the real estate career. Some were positive, but most were negative. The positive opinions will highlight the potential for unlimited money, and the negative ones will underline the difficulty of real estate. I began researching real estate agents, and the statistic that stood out to me was that 90% of new real estate agents quit within the first year. I noticed these were the same people with negative things to say about real estate. So I asked myself, what separates the 10% from the 90%? The answer that I found most often was mindset. The ones who went on to make real estate a career were hardworking, disciplined, and goal-oriented people, while the ones who quit lacked these qualities. If the 10% are hardworking, disciplined, and goal-oriented people, I knew this was the career field I wanted to be a part of. Once I decided, I registered for the 75-hour North Carolina real estate pre-licensing course. The real estate course is challenging. Many people attempt it to no avail. I knew that if I were to move forward with my decision, I must flip the switch in my head and go into full focus mode. Since I had already had success with sexual transmutation and knew its benefits, it was time to put the principle into action again. So I sat down in half lotus pose, took 10 deep breaths slowly, visualized my sexual energy moving up from my genitals to my brain, then focused my thoughts and desires towards my real estate goals, being very specific with my thoughts. I finished by taking 10 more deep breaths slowly before opening my eyes. This time, I expected to feel motivated and sure. I opened my eyes and got to work. Over the next few months, I finally received my North Carolina real estate license. During those months, I had to apply many of the principles mentioned in the previous 4 chapters. There were many failed attempts before I was able to receive my real estate license. More specifically, it took me 4 tries to pass the state portion of the real estate exam. Without persistence and the willful desire to attain my goal, I would have quit. But giving up on my goals is unacceptable. It shouldn't be for you either. Once I began working at Berkshire Hathaway Realty, I knew the real test was just getting started. I soon realized that building clientele and performing well will require an immense amount of energy, especially for a new broker. I began the sexual transmutation process because I wanted to give my clients my best effort every single day. My first few potential sales ended up falling through, which is typical for brokers, but mostly new brokers. So I wasn't discouraged. I continued and found a client who was serious about purchasing a home. This was very exciting, and I wanted to ensure that my client got the best home buying experience I could give her. Unfortunately, a few days before closing, she decided to terminate the contract for personal reasons. Although I didn't quite get my first closing, my former client informed me that I was professional, reliable, and respectful. You might ask, how does sexual transmutation relate to this example? Let me explain. Real estate wasn't my only job. I was only a part-time broker. My other career was an active duty Air Force member. Anyone that has ever been on active duty knows that per your contract, you must put your military responsibilities first. So with my real estate endeavors, I had to become great at time management. Not only that, but I had to be willing to work more than the average person. Monday through Friday consisted of 14-hour days on top of being enrolled in college classes. My desire to achieve my goals was so strong that I was willing to sacrifice what was needed to obtain what I wanted, but I needed to find a source of motivation and the energy to get me there. You can already guess how I got it. Sexual transmutation. Chapter 6, Desire. Every chapter up until this point speaks about aspects that are necessary for you to achieve your goal. It starts with programming your mind. You must have a success mindset and not a failure mindset. Next, you must develop the proper habits so that you can be focused and consistent when you are working towards your goals. Consistency is the most important thing you must possess because it enables you to progress and eventually see results. Setting small, achievable goals that correlate with your main goal will allow you to simplify your tasks so you won't become overwhelmed. Doing all these things without acting is useless. Acting is what produces results. Finally, controlling your sexual urges and transmuting that energy towards whatever you want to achieve will increase your chances of achieving success. What inspired you to set your goal? You should think about this question because the answer will let you know if you have what it takes to achieve it. Please write your answer down on a blank piece of paper and read it out loud twice daily, once when you wake up and once before you go to sleep. Here's an example. I want to achieve my goal of blank because it would allow me to experience life fully, provide for my family, and have complete control over my time. Notice that the underlying aspect of the answer is desire. Desire is the motivating reason behind achieving your goals. It gives you purpose. Without desire, achieving your goals is meaningless. You won't have any motivation to pursue it. At the end of the day, what it comes down to is how badly you want it. How bad do you want it? It's simple. To become successful, you must have an insatiable desire to do so. Many of the most extraordinary people who ever lived achieved their success through passion and a relentless work ethic. Kobe Bryant, one of the greatest basketball players of all time, is the epitome of having a relentless work ethic and a burning desire to achieve his goal, which were to win championships and become an all-time great. What was unique about Kobe was that he wasn't the most athletic person in the NBA or even the most talented, so he had to find alternative ways to be effective. One of his best traits was his relentless desire to be great. That desire was the fuel that kept him motivated to outwork any player in the NBA. When other players were sleeping, he was training. When other players were partying and taking trips, he was training. He wanted it so bad that he never made excuses for himself. He had two options: to work hard or to become a failure. Desire is a powerful emotion. You must learn how to control it because if not, desire will control you. If used irresponsibly, desire will destroy you and cause the people that you care about the most to distance themselves from you. If you let desire control you, then it turns into greed. They say that money is the root of all evil, but in fact, it is greed that is the root of all evil. Once your desire is uncontrollable, you will do anything to satisfy it. You will begin to steal or cheat to gain a competitive advantage at a low level. Theft and cheating go against the moral code and tend to attract consequences. You typically see this behavior in drug addicts who spend all their money on drugs. Their need to do whatever it takes to satisfy their desires leads them down a path of stealing and cheating. At a high level, uncontrollable desire can lead to murder. If your desire to achieve your goal is this uncontrollable that you are willing to kill, then this is a major problem not only for yourself but for others as well. Hitler is the most notable example of someone who had an uncontrollable desire. You know the story, so I will not speak on this tragedy out of respect for the people harmed by it. His desire to achieve his goal was so uncontrollable that he resorted to harming and killing people. These are examples of what can happen if you don't control your desire. You essentially sell your soul to achieve your goals, and that's not what should happen. You should never have to compromise your values or morals in the name of your desires to reach your destination. Even if going against your values and morals is a sure way to achieve success, you must understand that it's not the only way. You may have to work harder by not compromising, but the reward would be much more gratifying and meaningful. So, how badly do you want it? If you are willing to do the things necessary to get what you want without dismissing your values, then your desire matches that of the most outstanding achievers ever to live. This desire will set you apart from others. While they are sleeping, you put in the time, effort, and energy into achieving your desired goal. The thing about desire is that you can desire more than one thing. Sometimes this needs to be clarified. You may need help completing tasks because you prioritize both things at once, or you may even change the rank in which you prioritize each desires frequently. One day you want to do this, the next day you want to do that. This can be very limiting when trying to reach your goals. You must prioritize the desire you want first, then focus only on that until you get to the level of success you are satisfied with. Only then should you pursue your other passions. The reason for that is so that your desired goal receives your full attention. Multitasking is a myth. It is impossible to do two or more tasks at once. You might have been told that multitasking is an essential skill, but multitasking is shifting your focus from one thing to another quickly. Studies have found that multitasking isn't efficient when trying to gain knowledge faster. Studies also show that your memory becomes less reliable when focusing on two things simultaneously. When you focus on one goal at a time, your brain can process information better and faster, increasing the likelihood that you succeed and thrive in whatever you are pursuing. I grew up with the stigma that desire of any form was bad. Desiring to become wealthy was seen as selfish and material worship. So, as you can imagine, this thought process held me back for many years. I thought the only way to live a good and pure life was to work until retirement, raise a family, and be content with less. Although being satisfied with less is a crucial trait for happiness, I soon realized that desire is not evil if used appropriately. I saw wealth as an opportunity to help people I otherwise wouldn't be able to without the funds. I saw wealth as a gateway to create a better life for my family as well as myself. And I saw wealth as a path to truly live life the way life is meant to be lived. I decided to use the power of desire to manifest the opportunities it offers to those who are patient and humble enough to use it positively. The key to unlocking the doors of success is giving your best effort. Effort is the byproduct of a strong desire. When you try to achieve your goal, you are telling yourself that you want it so bad that you are willing to work as long and hard as possible to win. Your subconscious will take note of your effort to the point that you will believe that achieving your goal is inevitable. This is where you become an unstoppable force, a being of pure willpower, a person that will accomplish anything their mind can imagine. Sacrifice. Everyone sees the achievements and accolades of professional athletes. That is the reason millions of people envy them. But what most people don't understand is the amount of dedication and sacrifices that the professionals make to be in their current position. Most professional athletes spend so much time perfecting their craft that their time is limited. That is an enormous sacrifice they make. Practices, workouts, meetings, games, etc. consume the time they could spend with their families. That is just one of many sacrifices they pay to be professional athletes. For most athletes, the potential to put themselves and their families in a better financial state far outweighs the sacrifice they must make. At the end of the day, the sacrifice they make are only temporary. The average person must understand that it is essential to make these sacrifices to enjoy the financial and time freedom most will receive after completing their careers. So, in the end, the trade-off they make for their time and commitment rewards them with a more significant benefit on the back end. I often watch comic book videos on YouTube. Yes, I can be a nerd at times, whatever. And some of the biggest lessons I've learned in life come from the stories I have watched. One of my favorite comic book stories is called Invincible. It's about a teenage boy named Mark Grayson who inherited great power from his father, who was from a planet called Viltrum. Mark struggled with his morality when trying to be a hero. One of the things he struggled with was killing to save millions of people. To him, killing was morally wrong, even if the person was evil. Often, by not killing the villain, many more lives were lost because of his decision not to kill them. Mark's little brother challenged his morality by debating that killing to save millions of people was the correct way to do things. He proceeded to give an example of how Mark didn't kill this particular villain, and in turn, this decision led to millions of innocent people being killed. This was the part in which Mark had to make a decision. Would he sacrifice his morality to save millions of innocent lives, or would he continue to hold on to his morals and risk the death of the innocent? Ultimately, Mark concluded that innocent lives were worth more than his morality and vowed to kill if needed so that innocent lives were not taken. He sacrificed his character for the greater good of his people. I love this story because it shows the realistic decisions one must take to achieve their goals. Much like this story, sacrifices are an inevitable part of success. You must weigh the sacrifice against the achievement and ask yourself, is the achievement worth the sacrifice? If the answer is yes, then you must believe that wholeheartedly because this belief will allow you to have the motivation and dedication to see your plan through until you are successful. Always begin with the end in mind. In other words, envision yourself successfully achieving your goal. Imagine how happy and accomplished you will feel once it's completed. Keep this vision, hold on to it tight. Every time you feel like quitting, remember what it would mean to complete it. Stay consistent and persistent, and you will win. Beginning with the end in mind is a great motivator. Let's say you decide to go to law school. I've never been to law school, but I know that it's not easy to complete and can be very stressful. Not only that, you must attend school for an extended period. If you think about all the work and classes you must complete before graduating, you can quickly become overwhelmed. But by keeping the end in mind, you save your mind worry by thinking positively and seeing yourself in a position of success. As I've mentioned, the belief that you will win is the secret to success. I've made many sacrifices in my life. The issue I deal with the most is whether to sacrifice temporary pleasure for my long term goals. This can be challenging for many people because of our desire for material things. Do I buy that new 2023 GMC truck, or do I invest my money towards assets that would expand my wealth 5 or 10 years down the road? You may look at this question and think that investing your money to grow your wealth is the obvious answer. But when confronted with this question in a real life situation, you soon find the choice challenging. The desire to buy the new GMC truck might cloud your judgment. You may need to buy it now for whatever reason, but in a situation like this, I want you to ask yourself, do I need it or do I want it? When answering this question, you must be completely honest with yourself. If, for example, your current vehicle is unserviceable and you think that buying that new GMC is a need, then I want you to ask this question. Is there any vehicle I can settle with that still allows me to move forward with my plans without a major setback in money? 9 times out of 10, the answer to that question will be yes. Remember that you must sacrifice temporary pleasure for your long-term goals. This is important because you must understand that you can indulge in life's pleasures once your plan is completed. After all, that is why you made the sacrifice in the first place. As you can see, sacrifices are essential to achieving your goals. Anybody who has ever fulfilled a high level of success had to make sacrifices, whether by time, opportunities, or money. They understood that sacrifices were part of the game. You must make sacrifices to focus on what's important 100%. You become overwhelmed with everything you have going on, leaving you with less time to put into what you must do to reach your goal. Let's go over some examples of sacrifices you might have to make. Example 1. Andre wants to become a real estate agent. He did some research and found out that in his state, there is a 75-hour pre-licensing course that must be completed before he can take the real estate exam. Andre currently works a full-time job at about 40 hours a week plus 25 hours of overtime. On the weekend, he likes to play video games. Andre begins the real estate course and soon realizes that he doesn't have enough time to focus on the course. And when he has a little free time, he's exhausted because of work. Andre is determined to become a real estate agent, but he knows he must sacrifice something to make it work. What do you think he should sacrifice to achieve his goal? Overtime hours? Video games. He should sacrifice the overtime hours, which is essentially sacrificing money to achieve his goals. This is the logical answer because if he were to sacrifice video games, he would still run into the same problem that he had in the beginning, being too tired to learn. You see, if he sacrifices the overtime hours, he would have more energy to focus on the course. That, in turn, will allow him to complete the course effectively. Research has proven that you retain less information when you are tired. So completing the class when he can focus more will allow him to retain the information, thus increasing his chance of completing the course. In this example, Andre had to sacrifice money temporarily to achieve his goal. Goal over money. Example number 2. Maria wants to attend college but needs more funds to do so. She reads a pamphlet and learns that the military will pay for her school, but she is comfortable with her lifestyle and doesn't want to give up her freedom to do so. Maria is desperate to return to school, and this is the only opportunity she has to do so. She plans to become a traveling nurse if she graduates with a bachelor's degree. This is her ultimate goal in life, and something she has always wanted to do since she graduated high school. So she has a choice to make. Should she sacrifice her freedoms and time to join the military and have her school paid for? Or should she hold on to some of her independence and time and not attend school? What do you think she should do? Join the military? stay a civilian. Of course, she should sacrifice some of her freedom and time to join the military. The military offers her an opportunity to attend school, where she needs to become a traveling nurse. Achieving your goal requires sacrifice, and when you compare the sacrifice with the goal outweighs the sacrifice. Once she can complete school, she will be in a prime position to become something she always wanted to do, all thanks to her sacrifice. In this example, Maria had to temporarily sacrifice time and some freedom to achieve her ultimate goal. As you have read in the previous two examples, sacrifices had to be made. This is the nature of the beast. How bad do you want it? Are you willing to make the sacrifices needed to achieve your goal? If not, stop reading this book because you are wasting your time. Only those willing to do what it takes morally and ethically will succeed. Anything less is a recipe for failure. This book is designed to be the blueprint for success. Everything you have heard up to this point needs to be applied in your life, even if it's in a minuscule way, because even the slightest effort can blossom into something extraordinary. Love what you do. It's one thing to do something because of money. It is another thing to do something because you love what you do. There is no better motivator outside of survival than wanting to achieve your goal because you love it. You see, when you are trying to achieve something only for money, you will soon find out that there is no purpose in it. Money alone isn't sufficient to motivate you long term. You might think it is now, but trust me when I say it's not, because money does not buy you happiness. Purpose does. You might say, "What are you talking about? If I had more money, then surely I would be happier." But that's if the problems in your life are only money problems, such as not being able to pay the bills or not being able to provide your family with the necessities for survival. What happens when you have all the money in the world but still struggle to find purpose in life? You start to feel unfulfilled and sad. Let's say, for example, you choose to pursue a career in computer programming because they make six figures yearly. You graduate college with a computer programming degree and found a good paying job. You start working at a company and realize that this isn't something you enjoy doing, but you stay anyways because the paycheck is nice. Every week, your boss tasks you with a new project that must be completed before the end of the week, requiring you to work overtime to complete it. You start to feel like you are missing out on life because of the long hours and extreme workload, and eventually you begin to hate computer programming. Money at this point is not a strong enough motivator to keep you there. You think to yourself, is the money worth my happiness? You've decided that the answer is no, and that you want to do something with a purpose because you understand that without purpose, there is no true happiness. When choosing what goal to pursue, make sure you choose a goal that you are interested in or could love. Artists don't choose to become artists because of money. They decide to become artists because they love what they do. They find a sense of purpose in their work, and the passion they have is what motivates them to continue to do what they love, even amid criticism. I find meaning in helping others and seeing the joy on their faces. I also love art and design. This is what led me to become a real estate agent. I found purpose in this career because it allows me to help others, and I am a massive fan of architecture. Because I've had the experience of doing something I love to do, it makes it so easy to do it, and it doesn't feel like a chore. When you find something you love to do, I want you to hold on to it as a baby holds on to its mother. There will be people who try to make you question your decision or even try to persuade you to choose a different path. But let me clarify. The reality of the world is that some people will hate seeing you happy because they aren't happy themselves. It's human nature for people to feel this way, so don't fault them. But you must stay focused on your path because no one knows what's best for you like you do. Most people are raised to go to college, secure a degree, get a job, and retire because it's the safest and most secure thing you can do. Now, while there's nothing wrong with that, never let people tell you that your dreams are foolish. Usually, those who take the riskier path in life are envied by those who are too afraid to take the same risk. Do what makes you happy. Pay no mind to the people who doubt you. Only keep the company that supports you. Be open to constructive criticism and understand that when it's given by someone who wants to see you win, listen to them. These people will tell you what you need to hear so that you may grow. Be able to distinguish hateful criticism from constructive criticism. Hateful criticism is when someone critiques you to lower your self-confidence and promote negative thoughts. Some examples of hateful criticism are hateful criticism examples. Your performance was awesome. You should consider changing your career field if you ever hope to succeed. Justin is a much better salesperson than you are. I don't think you have what it takes to compete with him because he's on a different level. You could do better, but I doubt it. Constructive criticism is when someone actively highlights your flaws but then gives you positive solutions on how you can become better. Constructive criticism examples. This wasn't your best performance, and I know that you can do better. Here are some tips to improve your next performance. Keep working hard, and I'm sure you will kill it. Justin is one of the best salespeople out there, and if you continue to work hard and stay consistent, you will get to his level, if not surpass him. I know you can do better. All you need to do is put in more effort, and you will be better. When trying to achieve any goal, you must first have the desire to achieve it. Desire is the motivator that keeps you going. When desire is combined with the passion and a love for what you do, your motivation for achieving your goal becomes so strong that even your worst enemy can make you deviate from your path. Remember that sacrifices are inevitable when working towards your goal. If you desire to succeed, something must temporarily go so your goal has your undivided attention. Lastly, if you are ever feeling overwhelmed, focus on the result. Start with the end in mind. Chapter 7. Be an expert. This is a chapter that I probably didn't have to dedicate an entire chapter to because it's very straightforward. I heard a quote once, but I cannot remember who wrote it. It went a little like this. A jack of all trades knows many things, but he is a master of nothing. This stood out to me because the most successful people in the world are masters of their craft. Many of the highest paying jobs are highly specialized, such as lawyers, doctors, computer programmers, engineers, etc. When you attend school for any of these jobs, you are trained to have a specialized skill and knowledge of them. Warren Buffett, one of the wealthiest people on the planet, made his fortune because he was a master in the field of trading. Bill Gates made his fortune because he was a master in the field of technology. And Mark Cuban made his fortune because he was a master businessman. All these men accumulated great success because of their expertise in their respective fields. While it is true that being a jack of all trades will present you with a lot of opportunities, it doesn't lead to becoming more successful. This is because you are competing with thousands of other people who have the same goal as you, and the one who ends up becoming more successful are the ones who have the most knowledge in their field. Knowledge alone isn't sufficient to becoming successful. You must implement your learning. Both knowledge and action are what makes someone an expert. Let me ask you this question. Do you want someone selling you a house and you feel like you know more than them? Of course not. You hire a real estate agent because they possess more knowledge than you about houses. You hire an agent because you believe they will have the skills necessary to guide you through the entire process. And if the agent is good, they will also be able to find the best deals for you. Who doesn't love a good deal? Learn everything. Be obsessed. There's no shortcut to success. If you want to achieve something, you must give it your best effort. Experts aren't experts because they give half effort. They are experts because they choose to put in an immense amount of work to get where they are in life. They study and learn as much as possible about their profession because it gives them an advantage over the competition, providing a better experience for their audience. When you go to the doctor's office, you expect the doctor to have the answers to most of your questions, right? Of course you do. Doctors may not have all the answers, but the expectation is they will have enough knowledge to make you feel comfortable. After you have chosen the goal you want to achieve and are actively following your plan to achieve it, next you must learn everything about your craft. Be obsessed with the idea of becoming the best at what you do. The best music artists in the world are great at what they do because they are obsessed with it. They are constantly trying to figure out ways to be better, whether experimenting with new sounds and melodies, studying past artists, practicing, or having test audiences critique their work. They are so invested in their crafts, they want to learn and understand everything there is to know about it to provide unforgettable experiences to their audiences. Becoming an expert would drastically increase your likelihood of success. It shows you have what it takes to do what you do at the highest level. One thing that most people catch on to rather quickly is someone who isn't as knowledgeable as they portray. To avoid this, you need to become knowledgeable about your craft. Fun fact, people tend to trust you more when you know what you're talking about. Don't be a novice. The most frustrating thing is dealing with a person who is a complete novice. A novice is someone who appears to be competent in their respective profession, but is someone who lacks the skill and knowledge to benefit the person that they are representing. A novice is something you do not want to be, as novices tend to hurt their clients more than they help them. They care more about themselves and their profits than the people they are supposed to be helping. When I began my personal development journey, I was impressed by the idea of fast money. What caught my attention was the Forex market because of the potential to make instant cash. At the time, Forex was popular among my peer group, and it was the thing to do. Every time I opened social media, I saw pictures of the immense profits people were making in less than 1 hour. Who wouldn't want to make $700 in 1 hour? Nevertheless, if you wanted to learn how to trade, these people would teach you, but there is a catch. You had to sign up for a program that profited them each time someone signed up under their name. Essentially, this is a pyramid scheme, but I will get to that part later. Once I signed up, I was eager to get to work. I soon realized that the people who said they would teach me how to trade in the Forex market were not experts. I lost some money because of this. I then realized that most of the money they were making came from the sign-up program, aka the pyramid scheme. This didn't sit well with me because the main reason I signed up was to learn how to trade. But the knowledge passed down to me was the watered-down subpar version of what there was to learn. Ultimately, it was because I put my trust in a novice that ended up costing me more money than I made. This is an example of how a novice can have a negative impact on your goals. Because they only care about their success, they are willing to put others at a disadvantage to satisfy their own desires. Another key to success is constantly providing value to those you intend to help. Being an expert at whatever you do is one of the most valuable traits you can have. It goes a long way, especially if you are in the sales field. Providing value increases the chance of referrals and repeat business. It also helps build a relationship based on trust. Chapter 8. Invest in yourself. Investing in yourself is the most important investment of all time, more than stocks, crypto, and real estate. It's the most important investment of all time because it's the origin of where it all starts. Striving to achieve your goal is investing in yourself. Reading a personal development book is investing in yourself. Buying something that will help you progress towards your goal is investing in yourself. Without investing in yourself, you can kiss your hopes and dreams goodbye. No one will come along, read your mind, and give you everything you've wanted. This is different from Aladdin or the Fairly Odd Parents, where your wishes can be granted without putting forth effort. The reality of it is that you must take a chance on yourself. You must go out and make it happen. It is up to you to believe in yourself enough to make the self-investments that will direct you towards your goal. There are 5 self-investments that I highly recommend adding to your life. Investing in your time, appearance, products, personality, and knowledge are aspects that all successful people have worked on during their path to success. Time. As we discussed in Chapter 4, time management is essential. Time management helps you organize your day efficiently. It reduces the clutter in your mind so you can tackle one task at a time. Learning to take advantage of your time is a skill that will be helpful as you try to reach your goal. Investing in yourself is investing in your time. Once you learn how to use your time as effectively as possible, everything else will flow easily. One thing we never get back in life is our time, so we must use it to our advantage. Many people in their early 20s believe that they have a lot of time to get things done before it's too late, but this type of thinking causes many people to procrastinate. I remember when I was around 21 years old, I said to my dad, I have plenty of time to get it done. I'm still young. And his response to me was, no, you don't. And then he explained that time is relative, and if you are not paying attention, it could be gone in the blink of an eye. How often have you heard someone wish they started something earlier? I've listened to this enough times that the statement that my dad spoke made sense to me the moment I heard it. People who've procrastinated their whole life don't understand how quickly time can move when they aren't paying attention. Regret is one of the worst feelings someone can have. If you let time pass without making it meaningful, then regret will follow. To avoid this, you must use your time wisely and make every moment count. Think, if I choose not to do this, will I regret it later? If the answer is yes, it's time to get to work. Appearance. Some believe that appearance is a luxury you can only afford once successful. They feel that spending money on clothes, shoes, jewelry, etc. wastes money that can help you reach your goal. There is some truth to this. If you are constantly spending your money on designer clothes, jewelry, and shoes without purpose, then you are wasting your money. At that point, all those things become luxuries. Let me clarify. CEOs, managers, clients, and business partners do not care about how many Rolexes or Jordans you have. Investing in your appearance is vital to how people view you, which is essential to success. What they see is how they will respond to you. If you are trying to make business deals and you walk into the business meeting with your pants below your ass, no one will take you seriously, let alone want to do business with you. Stereotypes, professionalism, and first impressions are real things, so you must carry yourself the way you want to be perceived. When I say invest in your appearance, I mean turn your clothes, shoes, and jewelry into assets. First impressions are critical to your success. You are viewed as competent and intelligent when you are well dressed. Buying nice clothes for an occasion will speak volumes about your character and intelligence before a person even gets to know you. You've opened yourself to more opportunities just off an excellent first impression. For men, a nice suit, nice shoes, a nice watch will benefit you greatly. For women, a lovely dress, nice shoes, and nice jewelry will help you as well when pursuing your goal. After a while, you can slowly accumulate a better wardrobe. Don't look at it as wasting money on clothes. Look at it as investing in a professional wardrobe. The difference between buying clothes as a luxury instead of investing in clothes as an asset is the luxuries aren't pushing you towards your goal. However, an asset's purpose is to add value to the pursuit of your goal. Products. If you are an entrepreneur, you understand that products bring in money. Without the product, you have no business. Your product should be of good quality because that's what people appreciate most. They want to see that you care about providing value to their lives. So, you must invest in your product. Whatever your product is, making sure your client receives a great product is the most important thing. Taking pride in your product and treating it as you would anything of importance will set you apart from the competition. While others are focused on making the highest profit, you are focused on building customer relationships, trust, and providing value. This is the recipe for a business that will enjoy long-term success. If you are serious about entrepreneurship, then you must be willing to sacrifice spending money on things you do not need so that you can put it towards your product. Know that all your product investments are improvements on what you have already built and will eventually lead you towards your desired goal. Personality. Think of some of the most charismatic people you know. They are well liked and popular among most people. There is something about them that makes you envy them. You want to be around these type of people because they bring a good vibe unmatched by most. One person that comes to mind is Dwayne Johnson. He has the kind of personality that, as a fan, makes you want to be like him. As a business partner, you look forward to working with him, and as a friend, you enjoy the positive energy that he brings with him. A genuine personality will carry you a long way in your career. When you are perceived to be trustworthy, kind, decisive, and humorous, people will either want to work for you or want you to be part of their team. There is a type of respect you acquire when you are personable, which cannot be achieved with a poor personality. So, take pride in being personable. Someone who has poor personality is unkind, indecisive, untrustworthy, and complains. No one wants to be around a negative person. Negativity spreads just as quickly as positivity does and can promptly affect anyone who doesn't remove it from their environment. You are the average of the 5 people you hang around. If you keep negative people around long enough, then eventually you will start to become negative yourself. Negativity is the dream killer because it evokes feeling of doubt and fear, the two things that will stop you from achieving your goals. I mentioned complaining as an attribute that constitutes a poor personality because when you constantly complain, You tell yourself that you are helpless and can't do anything for yourself. Now, I am not saying that complaining is necessarily bad because everyone needs to let it out now and then, but I'm implying that the consistency in which you complain will be detrimental to your career and life progression. You see, complaining is the result of a lack of problem solving. When you complain, you are just upset that you do not have the solution to the problem that you are facing. The truth is that you are in control of your problems. Invest in your personality because it will take you far in reaching your goal in life. It makes you an overall better human. You either find a solution to your problem or complain about how much you can't do anything about it. The choice is yours. Knowledge. Have you ever heard the saying, knowledge is power? This is only partially true. The more accurate quote would be, action carried by knowledge is power. But don't let this confuse you. Knowledge is the most important part of this quote. The wisest person in the room is the quietest person in the room. Someone who lacks knowledge is loud because they are trying to compensate for what they don't know. They want others to believe they are the most intelligent in the room when they aren't, and they are too busy trying to convince others of their knowledge to listen and learn. A wise person is quiet because they listen, observe, and analyze. Knowledgeable people are great listeners and do not try to convince others of their knowledge. These are the type of people that become successful in life. They make the best bosses and employees because they are willing to learn and apply it to their careers. To reach your goal, you must invest in your knowledge. Never think that you are the most intelligent person in the room because someone will always have knowledge you don't. Investing in your knowledge plays a vital role in your success. First, it supplies you with many opportunities. For example, if you are knowledgeable in law, it will make you a highly desired lawyer, which results in more money. If you are a nutrition expert, it will make you a highly valued and desired nutritionist, which also results in more money. These are just two of many examples in which knowledge can supply you with better opportunities. Second, it makes you more credible. Many people typically recommend someone with a reputation for knowing what they are talking about, as they are trustworthy and knowledgeable. Last, investing in knowledge gives you more confidence to tackle whatever task or problem you encounter. As I gained more years of experience in the military, I was eventually tasked to train the new members on how to do their job. I could teach the newer members effectively, and I was confident that I had all the tools to succeed. I was so confident because I was knowledgeable about the job and knew what they needed to know to succeed. Have confidence. Confidence is a quality that is envied by many. We all desire to believe in ourselves, yet most lack this quality. We tend to gain our confidence through the affirmation of others, but confidence is not something that can be given by something outside of ourselves. When you receive assurance from something outside of yourself, it feeds your ego and gives you false confidence. You start to base your self-worth on what other people think of you. Eventually, you become what other people want you to be instead of what you want to be. This leads to depression and a lack of confidence. Confidence must come from within. The only way to truly become confident is not to base your self-worth on other people's opinions. If you lack this quality and want to learn how to become the most confident version of yourself, then read on, and I will give you the key that will unlock your confidence and the self-belief you have been searching for. To understand how to be fully confident in yourself, you must know what not to do so that you don't confuse false confidence with absolute confidence. Do not base your self-worth on other people's opinions. This is a big mistake that I see happen way too often. Today, social media has people basing their self-worth on the opinions of others daily. Most don't even realize it. If they post a picture and it doesn't get enough likes, then they believe no one likes them or they aren't as pretty as they were led to believe. Females see other females post half-naked pictures and see all the attention they get and try to emulate it. When they do, they start to get more likes. They continue to post what gets them attention. This feeds their ego and gives them false sense of confidence. When they do decide to post a typical picture, they find that it receives less attention than when they post half-naked pictures. So they lose confidence in themselves and continue to post what other people want them to so they can feel good about themselves again. Men have the same problem. They see that women tend to go for a specific type of man, so they become what they perceive women want because it gives them confidence. This is false confidence. If other people's opinions of you determines your confidence, then you aren't genuinely confident. If you let others' opinions determine your action, you are a people pleaser. You aren't comfortable being yourself. You are afraid that if you are yourself, nobody will like you, so you choose to be someone you are not. This doesn't equal success or happiness. Doing something for others will lead you to depression and anger, and your confidence will be non existent. Let me let you in on a little secret. Never try to impress people who wouldn't love the real you. Those are the type of people you need to stay away from because they will take you away from achieving your goals. Finding false confidence in these types of people will move you further away from your dreams because they aren't interested in what you have going on. They are only interested in the person you let them to believe you are. When you are confident being yourself, you start to attract people that matter in your life. These are the type of people who will encourage you to reach your goals and be unapologetically you. You will have a more purposeful and fulfilling life when you base your self-worth on your ability to do what you want to do regardless of the opinions of others. One of the biggest lessons I've learned is that people don't actually care. They don't care if you succeed. They don't care if you fail. The only person who cares is you. When you understand this, your confidence will skyrocket, and here's why. If they don't care, then why should you lack confidence? After all, you are the only person trying to achieve your goal. No one is forcing you to do it. You must hold yourself accountable for every action you make towards achieving your goal. People might not care that you succeed, but one thing they will care about is how. You will now become a role model for others who want to be in your position. That's why it's so important to have confidence in yourself. It's about you and your success and the impact you can make on others. When you carry yourself with confidence, people take notice. They envy it and want to emulate it. Confidence is one of the keys to success. So by exhibiting confidence, you are essentially setting the standard for those who follow you. When I first realized that people didn't care if I succeeded, I felt like the weight of the world was lifted off my shoulders, and I could make as many mistakes as I needed to reach my goal without worrying about the opinions of others. We tend to lack confidence because we have this idea in our minds that other people would judge us if we fail. We are afraid to fuck up because we think that it means we aren't good enough. Let me tell you, no one reaches success without failing along the way. 90% of businesses fail on their first or second attempt. It is normal to make mistakes. It doesn't mean you aren't good enough. It's just a learning experience that we must go through to become more knowledgeable than before. And with the knowledge, you become more confident that you will succeed. Optimism mixed with persistence will lead to success, while pessimism mixed with lack of confidence will lead to failure. If you're ever losing confidence because of the fear of failure, remember, people don't care. Lastly, the most important thing to gain confidence is to believe in yourself. Self-belief is knowing that you can achieve something even when others don't. This is not optional. It's a quality you must have to become successful. You must believe in yourself so much that even if you fail, you know that you will still succeed. Chapter 1 states that the mind is a powerful thing. A strong self-belief has a way of communicating with the mind that whatever you believe will manifest. These thoughts of self-belief are stored in your subconscious. The subconscious mind is more powerful than the conscious mind and is connected to the ether. So all thoughts will be manifested as their physical counterpart. In other words, what you think will become a reality. There will be people who say that your dreams are too big. You will have doubters. I wouldn't be truthful if I told you you wouldn't. No one will understand your goals as you do, and that's okay because as long as you have a plan, act on it, and know that failure is inevitable to succeed and believe in yourself, you will have the confidence to make it happen. Many people will tell you some feel-good mumbo-jumbo because they don't understand what it takes to succeed. This is honest advice. Applying it to your life will reward you every time. Chapter 9, Obstacles. When I found out that I was deploying to Saudi Arabia, the first thing I did was create a plan for everything that I wanted to achieve in the 6 months that I would be deployed. Some goals I set for myself was read one book every month, start learning Spanish, finish this book, complete 9 college courses, complete the North Carolina real estate post-licensing course, study for staff sergeant, develop marketing ideas, and get into the 1,000-pound club. The first month, I was going strong and had developed a routine. I would wake up, go to the gym before work. Once I assumed post, I would immediately do my schoolwork for about 2 hours. Then I would begin working on my post licensing course for an additional 2 hours. The way we had our work shift set up was 4 hours on and 4 hours off. After I finished that, I started my shift. And during the slow times, I would read a chapter of a book and take 10 minutes to learn Spanish on Duolingo. Once my shift was over, I began writing for this book for about 1 to 2 hours. I repeated this routine every day until I eventually got burnt out. I failed the first 3 post-licensing course because I could not retain the information. I was trying to do too many things at once, making my brain fatigue. I got discouraged after that because I had ran into my first obstacle. I had to reevaluate and restructure my plans. As I was reevaluating them, I realized that if I was to complete everything I wanted to achieve, I had to make some sacrifices. When I created my plans, I organized them from most important to least important. This came in handy because I knew what I would sacrifice if needed. I sacrificed reading and studying for staff because those were at the bottom of my priority list. I understood that if I were to sacrifice those things, it wouldn't significantly affect achieving my goals. Not only did I make sacrifices, but I also had to restructure my routine. The one thing holding me back the most was doing too much at once. This was causing me to burn out fast. So instead of giving up, I came up with a solution. On Mondays, I focused all my attention on school. I would spend 4 hours completing my assignments and studying for the week. On Tuesdays, I spent 4 hours focusing on my real estate course. On Wednesdays, I concentrated on writing this book. Thursdays were for real estate and Fridays were for writing. I remember that taking breaks is essential to being more productive because it gives you a chance to relax and recharge. So I gave myself Saturdays and Sundays off. 10 minutes every day was focused on learning Spanish. Must keep that Duolingo streak going strong. At the end of my deployment, I achieved my goals aside from the 2 that I sacrificed. But it wasn't without its obstacles. I faced challenge after challenge, but I knew I would still achieve my goals each time. All I had to do was reevaluate and restructure. My self-belief, persistence, and understanding that obstacles are inevitable in becoming successful helped me achieve what I set out to achieve. The path to success isn't a straight line. If the path to success were a straight line, everyone would be successful. But the truth is, the path to winning is bumpy. You may even have to terminate your plans and develop a new one. Every time you fail, you learn what not to do next time until eventually you are greeted by success. When developing plans for your goals, understand that you might not achieve them on your first try. Actually, I want you to expect to fail on your first try and view that failure as a teacher. This will help you not panic when you fail and be prepared to readjust if needed. Walt Disney, one of the most recognizable names in the world, failed multiple times before he succeeded. He went bankrupt during his first business endeavor. The Laugh-O-Ground was the name of his first professional studio. He created this company when he was 19 years old. Things looked promising after he made a successful character called Oswald the Rabbit. His studio and fan-favorite character were a hit. At the time, cartoons were more intermission fillers, and Disney racked up extensive commission checks from the Newman's Theater. Even after the success, his inexperience would be his eventual downfall when he tried to negotiate a higher fee for producing his animated series. Instead of his negotiations succeeding, those fees were cut. To make things even worse, he didn't own the intellectual properties of his characters as he thought he did. Ultimately, Disney was faced with a choice: either accept a reduced fee or decline and have his character taken away from him. He declined the offer, and most of his staff left him. Most notable was Rudy Eisen, who later co-founded Warner Brothers and MGM Cartoon Studio. This led the company to become bankrupt, but his decision to decline the offer was significant because he would eventually become the founder of Walt Disney Studios. Disney's inexperience was essential to his growth. He was a genius when it came to creating animated series, but he needed to be more knowledgeable about the business aspect, which ultimately led to the downfall of his first studio. Despite his failure during his first venture, he didn't give up. Instead, he looked at his loss as a learning experience and continued to pursue his goals of owning a successful animation studio. He knew that to succeed, he must stay persistent in his plans and believe in his ability to create something unique. If Disney had given up, some of your favorite movies and cartoons would never exist. It takes failure to reach success. If you have yet to overcome obstacles, you have played it too safe. Understand that taking risks is necessary when trying to reach your goals. When you take a chance, you are essentially betting on yourself. So bet with the intention that you will succeed no matter how long it takes and how many times you fail to reach your goal. The civil rights movement was one of the most notable examples of overcoming obstacles. During this time, black people saw equality in America, but it wasn't without struggle. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was the leader of this movement, creating his infamous I Have a Dream speech in the Capitol, Washington, D.C. He led a series of peaceful protests that were met with violence from law enforcement, resulting in the imprisonment and death of thousands of black Americans across the country. At times, it felt hopeless, like everything they were trying to accomplish was all for nothing. They seemed to take a few steps backwards every time they made progress. When Rosa Parks refused to give up her seat on the bus to a white man, they arrested her. This was a revolutionary point because what she did was considered rebellious and led to multiple protests ending rather poorly. Many Americans felt threatened by the protests of black Americans and did everything possible to make it hard for them to evolve and elevate. But despite all the obstacles black Americans had to go through, they were eventually met by success when President Lyndon Johnson signed the Civil Rights Act of 1964, which gave people of all races equal rights. In this case, black Americans was met with obstacles they could overcome. Just like Walt Disney, they did not give up because if they had given up, they wouldn't have created an opportunity to reach their goals. It was because of their relentless perseverance, persistence, and self-belief they were able to succeed. The obstacles you face on your path to success gives your goals meaning. People tend to value things more when they must overcome adversity, leaving them with an overarching feeling of accomplishment and pleasure. You know that feeling when you're trying to pass a difficult level on a video game? You repeatedly fail to the point where you feel like giving up. But eventually, you finally pass that level, and everything you've done up until that point feels like it was worth it. That is the same feeling you receive when you fail repeatedly trying to reach your goal. But because you overcame adversity and kept going, you feel like the obstacles you faced was necessary to succeed. Understand that obstacles are not a sign that you should move on, but it's a test to determine if you are worthy enough for success on the other end of the struggle. Struggle humbles you. It puts into perspective that all the hard work and sacrifices you made are what prepare you to handle success. Sometimes when you don't go through adversity, you don't understand the value of things. A person who never worked for money will likely value it less than someone who had to earn it from the ground up. Going through adversity makes you realize all the discipline required to succeed. The process doesn't just help you understand the value of things, it shapes your character as a human being because you must experience the difficulties that come with it. You start to realize that most people can succeed if they apply themselves, and you also know that all people need is a desire and inspiration to get started on that path. No one wants to fail. It's one of the biggest fears people have. Be thankful for failure and use them as learning lessons. If you consider failure a bad thing, you must change your mindset. Be comfortable with failure, but not too comfortable. Failure is still the enemy. But have you heard the saying, keep your friends close but your enemies closer? That's what failure is. The devil on your shoulders telling you that you aren't good enough. On the other hand, self-belief is the angel on your shoulder telling you that you will succeed no matter what obstacle the devil places in front of you. I'm not going to tell you that overcoming obstacles is easy. It's far from it. It's mentally taxing, but you must develop a strong mind and will to overcome it. My grandmother used to say, God gives his toughest battles to his strongest warriors. And this has stuck with me ever since. It was the foundation that helped me develop a strong mind and a strong will. When I was younger, I took this quote literally. I thought the meaning of this phrase had only to do with the physical nature, but as I grew older, I started to understand that this quote is just as much mental as physical. Once I figured that out, my outlook on life changed. I began to realize things that I never noticed before. There are physical challenges that we must overcome, but there is also a whole world full of challenges that we must overcome. Those are mental challenges. Keep going. I use the word persistence quite often in this book. My goal was for you to have this word subconsciously planted in your mind. Persistence is the number one key to success. Let me tell you why. Think of persistence as a fly at a dinner table. It buzzes and tries to reach its goal of eating some of your food. But you don't want the fly to eat your food because flies are disgusting and vomit every time they land. You do everything possible to remove the fly from the dinner table. You are the fly's obstacle, but the damn fly just won't give up. It keeps going. It just won't stop. You think, why can't this fly just go away? You've tried everything from swatting it to trying to trap it to no avail. Eventually, the fly succeeds and gets his mouth on some of your mouth-watering chicken Alfredo your mother cooked. Sometimes flies seem like useless creatures, like they have nothing to offer to the world. They are annoying, but being an optimist, I believe nothing that was created is entirely meaningless. You can take away something fundamental from flies if you look a little deeper. Flies are the definition of the word persistence. They keep going until they have reached their goal. They know no such thing as failure. Even when they fail, they continue to try until success is achieved. If I had to guess, their success rate would be around 90%, considering they are impossible to eliminate. I'll take those odds any day. We can take this lesson and apply it to our everyday lives. After all, we've seen the chances of success are high. When you lose inspiration, it's okay to stop and take a step back. We need it. Our brains can become fatigued if we try to overuse it, but we always return and keep going. It took me over a year to write this book, and there has been many times where I lost inspiration and had writer's block. When this occurred, I took a breath. I didn't think about the book and let my brain recharge. I knew that I would come back and continue to write this book. Sometimes I would think, why am I writing this book? No one is going to read it. I should just save me the trouble and stop now. Truth be told, I didn't listen to those thoughts and kept going. I knew that my persistence would carry me to the finish line, and the feeling I get after completing one of the hardest things I've done would be amazing. My desire to finish this book was so strong that I wouldn't let negative thoughts stop me from accomplishing my goal. So I told myself, I might not have the best written book on the market, but I'm sure as hell going to have a book. So I kept going. When you doubt yourself, keep going. Doubt is only the fear of the unknown. The crazy part about it is that it's only a figment of your imagination. Doubt can only be genuine if you believe it so. But if you look doubt in the face and refuse to listen, that will become your new reality. You see, if you have a desire for something and you believe you can achieve it, that's enough motivation to keep going. You can't allow doubt to control you. Please don't become a slave to something that's not real. Instead, become its master. There's nothing more powerful than a person who can control their emotions. When doubt starts to creep in, remind yourself that you are the master. If you want to become an entrepreneur, but doubt makes you question your decision, tell doubt that it's wrong and you will accomplish your goal of becoming an entrepreneur. Make doubt respect you enough to not influence you often. Make doubt think twice before entering your mind, and when it does, keep going until persistence overwhelms it. When you are about to cross the finish line, keep going. This is a big one because many people see the finish line and become complacent. You start to lose focus because you feel as if you have made it. But the truth is, you still have the final stretch to go. This is where you must dig deep and muster up your willpower to finish the race. Have you ever heard the saying, the game is not over until it's over? Well, that statement is as valid a comment as you would hear. Super Bowl 51 between the Falcons and the Patriots was the biggest comeback in Super Bowl history. The Falcons led the Patriots 28-3 in the third quarter. The game was all but sealed, considering that no team in Super Bowl history has ever come back from a deficit this large. The Falcons saw the finish line, but to their fault, they mistaken it as the end goal. They became complacent to the point where their plays were far too conservative. They saw the finish line but didn't dig deep to seal the victory because in their minds, they had already won. The Patriots began to mount their comeback, taking advantage of their possessions, and before you can blink, they had scored 19 points in the fourth quarter to the Falcons' 0 points to send the game into overtime. The Patriots won the game in overtime, scoring a touchdown to seal it. The Falcons had failed to keep going. Had they kept their foot on the gas and muster up the willpower to finish the game, they would have succeeded in winning. There is a lesson to be learned here, and that's to keep going. The game's not over until it's over. Hopefully by this point, I've beaten into your brains the importance of persistence. With it, you'll be able to reach your goals. Let's take a successful YouTuber, for example. They must overcome a lot of obstacles to get to the position they are in, from people telling them that content creation isn't a real job to losing scholarships because they refuse to stop making content. Honestly, YouTubers exemplify the essence of self-belief and persistence. Most of them started with only a few subscribers, and at the time, it felt like everything they were doing was for nothing. YouTube has an algorithm that promotes the growth of the YouTube channel through the persistence of the individual. In other words, you must constantly make and post content to grow. Sometimes it takes hundreds and hundreds of videos to see the slightest sign of growth. The ones that make it far are the ones who kept going. Even through adversity, they continue to create and post content, and in the end, they can enjoy the fruits of their labor. Most content creators are said to be influencers. This is something that many of the new generation aspire to be. But what they see on the surface is the result of relentless effort and hard work. When you look at content creators, you see their content, but what you don't see is the criticism and doubt they had to overcome to be in the position they currently hold. They are examples of what happened when you keep going. If you are still reading this book, I want you to pledge to yourself that you will overcome any obstacle that's in your way. Repeat to yourself that you will not give up despite failure and setback. Assess the problem, find a solution to the problem, then refocus your efforts on continuing to pursue your goal. It's one thing to say these things and another to put them into action. When you come face to face with adversity, take control of the situation. Think back to everything you have learned, then do it. You will never benefit from this practice if you don't apply it. It has transformed my life, so I know it would do the same for you. When it does, feel free to email me about how it has helped. We as humans are not perfect, nor can we ever be, and that's okay. Our flaws are what makes us human and gives us purpose in life. Without flaws, there would be no need for self-improvement. There would be no need for anything. Take pride in the fact that you possess the ability to overcome obstacles. Everyone has this ability. If you don't think you do, you can learn how to. That's what's so amazing about us. We can adapt, learn, and move accordingly. Anyone can accomplish anything they set out to. It is all dependent on your willingness to put in the work and your ability to stay persistent. Everything you desire is right in front of you. It's already yours. You must go out and get it. And if that means you must grind and work hard for it, then that's what you must do. So I said this plenty of times, and I'm going to say it again. Keep going, fam. Have faith. The word impossible is my least favorite word ever created. What I think when I hear this word is, it just hasn't been done yet. Just because something hasn't been done yet doesn't make it impossible. Just over 100 years ago, people could never imagine that we would have a 487-ton metal contraption flying through the sky. It was something that seemed impossible. I can understand that because what reason would I have to believe this invention could exist? Nevertheless, it does exist, and it took people who didn't accept the word impossible to make it happen. When you break down the word impossible, you see it can be separated into two words. I'm possible. The word itself is telling you that you are possible. If you exist, then anything your mind can conceive can also exist. I mean, what's more impossible than life itself? I hate this word because it puts you in this type of box from which you can't escape. You must follow all the rules it has in place. But do you want to know something? Every invention was a result of stepping outside of this box. You must break a few rules for impossible to become possible. You must have faith that what you are doing will manifest. Google defines trust as complete trust in someone or something. Faith is such a powerful concept that it is used in almost every religious text, including the Bible and the Quran. Faith is what is going to carry you through all the difficulties of life. Without faith, you are essentially telling yourself that you will not succeed. And as we know, if you tell yourself you can't do something, then it will become your reality. Humans cannot and will not know everything. Faith would not be needed if we did, because it results from the unknown. If you were to devise an idea for an invention that has never been done before and are unsure that it's possible, then you will need faith to carry out your vision. Many people put limitations on what they can achieve. They believe they can only go so far, but that couldn't be further from the truth. Faith is meant to push the boundaries of what you think is possible. A lot of times we create these limitations for ourselves to protect ourselves from failure. We want to avoid facing the fact that we might fail. Some people call limitations realistic or being a realist, but I call it self-doubt because you tell yourself you don't believe in your abilities. In essence, limitations are a lack of faith. As I mentioned, There is infinite knowledge in the universe. That means that we were born to surpass limitations. Every time we discover something new, it changes our perspective on life, and we start to give it new meaning and find a greater purpose. When humans first discovered fire, it shifted our whole paradigm. We could now cook food and purify our water, which meant that the chances of survival increased drastically, and the supply of food and water also increased. Not only did it increase our chances of survival, but it shifted the entire way that we lived. We could also now live in colder regions of the earth because the fire provided warmth. We could hunt at night because fire provided us with light. How does the discovery of fire mean surpassing limitations? It was the creative ways to use fire that were limitation breaking. In the instant that humans discovered fire, two things was apparent. It provided us with warmth and light. The first humans never thought that fire could be used to cook food or purify water. The uses for fire would have never come to fruition if there wasn't a person who didn't think outside the box of limitation to make it possible. If you want to reach the success you dreamed of, you must have faith in yourself to surpass your limitations, because limiting yourself would be your downfall. Limiting yourself means holding your potential hostage, never to be realized. Well, I want something else from you. I want you to realize that you can succeed in life, and all it takes is a little faith. I don't believe you were placed on this earth to do what someone else wants you to do. You should give your life meaning. I know that chasing your dreams can be scary. We think of worst case scenario. What if I fail? What if I go broke? What if people think I'm stupid for chasing my dreams? These are all self-doubts that are dream killers. One thing that we should fear more than failure is regret. Regret causes us to lose focus on what we are currently doing because we are focused on what we didn't do in the past. It's a painful feeling, but one thing about regret is that it is avoidable. All you must do is change your thought process. Turn those negative what ifs into positives. Instead of saying, what if I fail, start saying, what if I succeed? Change, what if I go broke, to what if I gain wealth? And change, what if people think I'm stupid for chasing my dreams, to would I regret that I didn't chase my dreams? By simply turning pessimistic thoughts into optimistic thoughts, you are setting yourself up for success. When you are pessimistic, you again say that you don't know if you will succeed. Believe that you can, because everything holding you back can be stopped. It's all in your control. And if you can control it, then you are its master and can tell it to do whatever you want. Don't focus on things you can't control. If it's something you can't control, don't place any energy into worrying about it. You need to have faith that it will work out in your favor. Having faith will take you places you never dreamed of. I first decided to join the military because I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. So I figured I'd enlist and have a steady income while I figured out what I wanted to do. However, I knew that I wanted to bring value to people somehow, but I needed to figure out how to do that. When I enlisted, I had no plan, but I had faith that I would figure it out. After my first year, I still didn't know what I wanted to do. I enrolled in school because I needed a backup plan in case I never figured it out. Still, I had faith that I would. I was blessed to be able to go on a deployment to the Caribbean, and it was there that I met some of the best people and learned some of the most incredible things from them. One guy was a sergeant in the Air Force going on his 20th and final year in the military. He owned multiple clubs, convenience stores, and car dealerships. Me being an aspiring entrepreneur, I wanted to pick his brain and learn what I could from him. He taught me many things about being a boss. But what stood out most was when he told me that patience, consistency, and work ethic are essential qualities you must possess to succeed. I left that conversation highly motivated and ready to tackle the world, but I still needed to find my lane. What was going to be my niche? That was the question I still didn't know yet, but I have faith even more now that I will figure it out. During that deployment, I was fortunate to meet two other people who inspired me. Chief Booker taught me to give 100% effort in whatever I do. That stood out more because I knew he was honest with me. One only achieved the highest enlisted rank in the Air Force by giving their best effort. He also taught me to hold myself to a higher standard. This goes hand in hand with the topic of breaking limitations. If you hold yourself to a higher standard, then you will have no choice but to reach a higher level of achievement, because this is what you demand and expect from yourself. Mr. Duncan is the last person I met on deployment that brought value to my life and instilled the idea that faith will take you a long way. He was an older man, and his wisdom was unmatched. He taught me the importance of believing in yourself and walking in your power. You must realize your power and use it to your advantage to succeed. Many people don't realize their power. If they do, they don't use it. If you recognize your power and have faith that you can use it to make a positive difference, you will become a well-respected person in your community and the people will look up to you. Finally, I figured out what I wanted to do. I wanted to become a real estate agent. Although it took me nearly 2 years to figure out my path in life, faith kept me clinging to the hope that I would eventually find it. That's why faith is so important. Even if it doesn't happen when you want it to, if you keep that faith, it will happen when the time is right. Another thing that I mentioned I wanted to do was bring value to people. There is no greater purpose in my life than to help others. I didn't know how to do it. After my deployment, I read the book Think and Grow Rich. This was the most life-changing book I have ever read, and it sparked an idea in my head. I always wanted to help people succeed, but I needed to figure out how to articulate it as well as I wanted to. After reading that book, I understood the concepts of success in a way I never have before, so the idea of writing a book came to my mind. I knew I wasn't the best writer, and I had never written more than 3,000 words, but my desire to spread my knowledge and take on challenges made me believe I could do it. So without hesitation, I began writing. My first attempt at writing the book was a total failure. I had written about 2,000 words before I had determined it was complete garbage, so I scrapped it. Instead of giving up, I simply reevaluated what went wrong and refocused. During the time of reevaluating and refocusing, I had finally read the book my old coworker had given to me called The Inner Game of Tennis. It taught me how to enter a flow-like state where you didn't have to think too hard about what you are doing. You naturally do it. After reading this book, I decided to implement what I learned. So I began my second attempt, and to my surprise, I could write so much more without feeling like it was complete garbage. I'd enter a flow state. I had faith that I would overcome all the challenges writing a book presented, and because of that faith, I would achieve my goal of bringing value to people who wanted to hear what I had to say. When you take that leap of faith, you leave all regret behind, whether you succeed or fail. Faith will always motivate you to keep going through all the obstacles you face on your path to success. It's not going anywhere. Even when you think that you lost it, it's not that far away. It's always closer than you think. All you need is a piece of faith as small as a mustard seed, and that alone is enough to carry you, but you must make a decision. Are you going to be the person who stops trying at the slightest adversity, never to achieve their goals? Or are you going to be the person who keeps trying even after failure so that you leave no regrets behind? If you choose to be the second type of person, you must stay firm in your decision because it will be the best choice you will ever make, and you will be proud of yourself for sticking to it. I want to end this chapter by saying, you are in control of your destiny. Chapter 10, Success. Chapter 1 taught you how to program your mind. Your thoughts have a massive impact on how successful you will be. If your thoughts are negative, you will manifest negative results. If your thoughts are positive, then you will manifest positive results. These thoughts are trapped in your subconscious, which unknowingly changes your thinking. That's why it's so important to maintain a positive headspace because it will reflect your actions. Remember to visualize your goals first. If you can see success before it happens, you subconsciously make your brain believe it will inevitably come true. Chapter 2 was all about habits. You must develop good habits because it will make achieving your goals much more effortless. But starting the habit is the hardest part. It becomes second nature if you can maintain a healthy habit for 21 days. Consistency is critical to developing a good habit and maintaining it. Not only is it the key to habit, but it's one of the keys to success because consistency allows you to make incremental progress that eventually adds up until you have reached your goal. Chapter 3 talks about goal setting. One thing you need is a master plan. Your master plan is subject to change. It's not absolute because at any moment something can mess up your plan to the point where you must readjust and refocus. To create a master plan, you need to set small goals. Setting small goals enables you to achieve manageable tasks so you don't overwhelm yourself. Every time you complete a task, you feel good about yourself, which motivates you to continue working towards your main goal. Chapter 4 is my favorite chapter because this is the chapter that you must make it happen. Everything we discussed in the previous chapters are essential tools you need to make it happen this far, but it will be all for nothing if you don't act on it. Leave fear and procrastination at the door, for they will hold you back. Stop making excuses for yourself and get off your ass and do it. Chapter 5 is where I'm giving you factual information, even though you don't want to hear it. It talks about how controlling your sexual energy and transmuting your sexual energy will enhance your ability to achieve your goals. Sexual energy is powerful, and you can use it to manifest what you want in life. If you can control your sexual urges, you become an unstoppable force, so disciplined that you can achieve anything you want. Chapter 6 covers desire. Desire is the motivational force that drives you to get what you want out of life, but it begs the question, how bad do you want it? If you want something bad enough, you must make sacrifices. This is an inevitable part of success. That begs another question. Are you willing to sacrifice if it's within your moral code? If so, then make it happen. What makes achieving your goal a lot easier is if you love what you do. To desire something is one thing, but loving what you do will make reaching your goals much more manageable and fun. Chapter 7 explains that expertise is an essential element of success. People will tend to trust you and take you more seriously when you know what you're talking about. When people trust you, you are opening more opportunities to succeed. Remember, no one wants to do business with a novice. Chapter 8 is all about investing in yourself. Investing in yourself is the most important investment you can make. You say that you believe in yourself and you will win. When you invest in yourself, you must be confident. Basing your self-worth on other people's opinions is a one-way ticket to failure. Understand that people don't care if you fail or succeed, so you have no pressure to please other people. The only pressure you have is the pressure you put on yourself. Chapter 9 is more motivational. It explains how obstacles will always be a part of the process. You must have faith in your abilities to overcome these obstacles. Success is waiting for you on the other end of adversity. You must keep going, believe in yourself, and don't give up. We have arrived to chapter 10. If you are not a reader, you should be proud that you've made it this far. If you are a reader, thank you for reading it to the end. I hope this book has inspired you and you've learned a lot. But I'm not finished yet. You learned all these things that lead to success, but do you want to know what success is? Do you know how to handle success? Well, I'm about to tell you. Success isn't complicated. You might think you need some elaborate invention, the highest IQ, or the best talent to become successful, but you don't. Success isn't determined by how much money you have or how many people like you. Success can be anything you want it to be. The primary indicator of success is that you are proud of what you've accomplished and are happy. You can have all the money in the world and not feel successful because you aren't satisfied. You can also have the most expensive house, car, and lifestyle, but not feel successful because you went against your morals to obtain wealth. Success is relative. Your goal in life can be to get married and have a healthy relationship with your wife/husband and kids. You will consider yourself successful when you accomplish that because you have achieved what means most to you and are happy. Your goal can be as simple as going to the gym for the first time. If you achieve this goal, you too can consider yourself successful. Success doesn't always have to be measured in terms of how much money you have or how many assets you own. I remember seeing this guy on Instagram. He was paralyzed from the neck down. After he was paralyzed, his whole outlook on life changed. No longer did he view becoming wealthy as the main goal in life, but now his main goal was to be able to walk again. I followed him on Instagram because of his positive outlook on life. He didn't let his situation dictate his attitude. Instead, he was optimistic. He inspired me because he was a fighter. There's not many people in this world who go through as harsh of challenges in life as he has gone through. Many people will have given up and become self-soothing, bitter version of themselves, but not him. He kept faith that he would walk again one day and inspired thousands of people who followed his journey. I went a long time without seeing him on my Instagram feed. I guess Instagram algorithm didn't want me to be inspired. I forgotten he had an Instagram account until he popped up on my news feed for the first time in what seemed like decades. To my surprise, the video I saw was him walking again, albeit with the assistance of an exoskeleton, but the joy on his face was priceless. He had achieved his goal of walking again. It didn't matter that it wasn't of his own accord, but in his eyes, he had succeeded. At that moment, I realized that success could mean different things to different people. He valued that he could get off his wheelchair and walk without the assistance of another human. He is a successful person, and I will forever remain thankful to witness his relentless effort and undying faith. He is an inspiration to many people across the world and me. His optimism and persistence made a difference in the world, and that is a more significant measure of success than money could ever bring. Many people believe success is complicated, but it's not. It's straightforward. All you must do is visualize your goal, create a master plan, take action, which is the recipe for success. Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. You don't need to come up with some elaborate invention to become successful. Millions of people aren't the most intelligent but have amazing work ethic and a burning desire to win. This is what allows them to overcome every obstacle they may face. You see, it isn't complicated, but you have the ability to succeed, but it starts in the mind before it can manifest. Ask yourself, what is my definition of success? Then work your ass off to achieve your goal. If you do this, I promise you it will pay off. But don't take my word for it. Ask anyone you think is successful and how they became successful. They will tell you that it was because they had the desire to get what they wanted, and they put in the work to make it happen. My dad is the perfect example of someone who is disciplined, has faith, works hard, and is persistent. Years ago, he and his wife made it a goal to retire and move overseas, but they had something that had to be done first. They needed to pay off their house, save money, live below their means, and stay consistent. So they got to work. Over the next few years, they not only paid their house off, but they sold it for more than it cost them to purchase. They had saved enough money and invested it in the right place so they were financially able to make this move. They stayed persistent despite all the obstacles they had to overcome, and through all of that, they maintained faith in their plan. Eventually, the time came when they achieved their goal of moving overseas faster than I thought. For them, this was a success because they did what they said they would do without compromising their morals. Now my dad and my stepmom live their best lives on an undisclosed island. They taught me that if you work hard enough and keep your faith strong, you will, without a doubt, succeed. Spend time with your loved ones. You're never too busy to spend time with the people who mean the most to you. Understand that without your loved ones, you wouldn't be in the position you are in. Family and friends should be the most important thing in your life. You never know how much time you will have to spend with them, so every chance you get with them should be full of memories and love. You don't want to regret spending enough time with your family because you are too busy with work or your goals. The reality of life is tragedies happen every single day. Death is inevitable, and she doesn't show favoritism. Family and friends are also a way to relax and recharge. Everyone needs a break from time to time. It is healthy to take breaks. You don't want to burn yourself out. They are the ones that you can lean on when you need someone to talk to. They will motivate you to keep going when you feel like you want to give up because they want what's best for you. Taking time out of your busy schedule to spend with your friends and family will help you build your relationship stronger. One thing that everyone wants is to be close to their families. If you are struggling with creating relationships with your family, it's okay to put your pride aside and be the one to make it happen. There's nothing better to brag about than how amazing your family is. It's one of those highly valued things that might not seem as important when you look at it from a small point of view, but it's the most important as you step back and look at the bigger picture. Your success reflects them. Show the world that you and your loved ones are a force to be reckoned with. Spending time with family and friends allows you to remember your why behind your goals. I once told my mom and dad I wanted to make them proud. On two separate occasions, they both had the same response. Don't do it to make me proud. Do it to make yourself proud. While this is true, we sometimes can't help but to want to make our families proud because all that they have done for us. It's only fitting to give them something they can take pride in. If you are a parent, you have the most important role. That is to teach your child how to become an adult and navigate this complicated world. Children usually see their parents as superheroes and role models. You are everything to your children. They deserve to steal some of your time from work and your goals. Although I don't have kids of my own, I have friends that have kids, and I can tell you that there is nothing more important to them than their kids. Chasing your goal is something we all should strive for. But when you become a parent, your primary goal should be to ensure your kids are protected, loved, and sheltered. Children are more intelligent than a lot of people give them credit for. They understand that you must work to provide for them, but they also need time with their parents. They need to feel loved and cared for. Most kids are not materialistic because your time is worth more than presents to them. Think of millions of foster kids around the world. Most will give up everything to know and spend time with their biological parents. Money comes and goes, but the time you are willing to give is invaluable. If you are having trouble finding time to spend with your loved ones, here are 3 tips. 1. Start saying no. 2. Start on task early. 3. Start with the holidays. Start saying no to things that are not important. Many people struggle with saying yes all the time because they don't want to let other people down or feel left out. Your boss asks you to take on additional work because they know you always say yes. You might wonder why they never ask anyone else. This is because the other people are comfortable saying no. When you say no because you have more important things to do, such as spending time with family, you create the time for them. You might feel like you are letting people down by saying no, but the truth is you are putting what matters first. Believe it or not, people will respect you more because you have the guts to say no. Your distaste for being left out is another reason you have difficulty saying no. You say yes to going to the club with your friends because you feel like if you don't, then you are missing out. That couldn't be further from the truth. Sometimes you have to say no to your friends to create time to spend with your sister or brother. Trust me, you aren't missing much by not going out with your friends. In fact, you are going to gain something much more valuable by saying no. You are building relationships with your family. Trust me when I say that your friends will still be your friends, but if not, they aren't really your friends anyways, and they are doing you a service by leaving you alone. If you start on task early, you can create space in your schedule to spend time with your loved ones. The biggest issue is that people feel like they have too much going on during the day, but a lot of times it's because they procrastinate. If you want to make time for your family, do not be lazy. The earlier you start your day, the more time you can spend with your loved ones. If you feel overwhelmed by the number of tasks, think about limiting the number of things you do in a day. It's okay to spread your task out over multiple days. It is more efficient to do so and frees up time in your schedule. Make the best use of your free time by spending time with your family and friends. Need help finding out when the best days to spend time with loved ones are? Start with the holidays. Holidays were created so people can spend time with the people they care about most. It's almost like they made holidays for people who struggle with finding time to spend with their loved ones. Thanksgiving and Christmas are the 2 most family-oriented holidays. Choose these holidays to spend with family and friends and make the best of it. How to handle success. When people think of success, they believe it's about receiving. Sure, successful people receive things in return for their hard work, but there is another key element that identifies success, and that is giving. Being selfless enough to give back is a true testament to your character. When you can make a difference, you should do so out of the kindness of your heart. Giving can be a variety of things, from giving money to giving your time. Giving money is the most popular form of giving because many of the issues people face can be subdued if they had the money for it. A school in a low-income neighborhood might need more funds. Therefore, they must find a way to buy their students new textbooks. In this example, donating money to the school so they can afford books will benefit not only the school but the children that attend. One of my favorite ways to give is in the form of knowledge. It's a different type of giving, but can be equally effective, if not more than giving money. You can't put a price on knowledge, which can be life-changing. As I grew older, I realized that one of the biggest reasons that the Black community is among the poorest demographics in the United States is because we lack the financial and goal-setting knowledge that another demographic has the luxury of learning. I knew that if I wanted to make the most significant difference in the community I grew up in, I wouldn't give money because having money without knowing how to use it would be an easy way to lose it. It was going to have to be through knowledge. Time is the most valuable way to give. Giving money is easy. It doesn't take much effort. When you give your time, you are essentially saying that you are important enough to stop what I'm doing to focus on you. You are sacrificing the time that you could have used for your benefit to help make a difference in other people's lives. This shows that you care and there are bigger things in life than yourself. This is one of the most selfless acts anyone can do. Giving not only makes others feel good, but the fact that you are doing something in service of someone else makes you feel good. We as humans need to feel useful, and when we can enrich the lives of others, we tend to hold on to those memories and cherish them because deep down, we know that we made a difference. Give and you shall receive. Once you reach your end goal and are successful, you must learn how to handle success. The worst way to handle success is being arrogant, cocky, and selfish. If you have any of these qualities, then you aren't successful, as they make for horrible people. Who wants to be around a selfish person that brags about how successful they are? Usually these type of people are not as successful as they make themselves out to be, and the people can see right through them. They take and never give. The world revolves around them, according to them, and they always need to speak down on people. Once you have reached success, don't become one of these people because they are disliked by most and usually very lonely. They can't enjoy what their success has brought. They only live to flex. When nobody cares, they are depressed. To handle success, you must remain humble, kind, and selfless. You don't need to tell everyone how successful you are by your words, but let your actions speak for themselves. The quietest person in the room is usually the most successful person. Never think that you are above anyone else because there is something to learn from everyone. Instead, listen to what people have to say and respect their opinion. Know that the universe will return the favor if you treat people with kindness. Not only that, but you should treat people with kindness because everyone deserves that kind of human decency. Lastly, once you have acquired success, be selfless. There is no better way to make a difference in the world than to give back to others. As I conclude this book, I want to remind you that everything you want in life is in your control, but you must first program your mind to believe that success is inevitable and visualize in detail you are achieving your goal. Create a master plan, then take action on that plan. This is the key to success. I had the pleasure of being blessed with some amazing people who have made it possible for me to write this book, and I'm thankful for that. After reading this book, I hope you are inspired to reach your goals because it was my goal to bring life-changing value to you. Now, are you ready to take on those challenges and succeed? If so, as they say in the Discord chats, let's fucking go. Many studies have been conducted correlating health and wellness to enhance performance, and it's highly encouraged that you incorporate a proper diet and workout routine into your daily schedule. Exercising for just 30 minutes every day will improve your energy twice as much as a person who doesn't exercise. When you engage in physical activity for at least 30 minutes per day, you send feel-good hormones, dopamine, to the brain. It is a great way to start your day because it boosts your mood. Exercising also eliminates the need for excess caffeine because the natural energy you will receive lasts longer than caffeine without a significant crash. Exercising has also shown signs of improved focus. Once you incorporate exercise into your daily routine, you become more aware of your surroundings and can maintain a higher attention span, which is essential to your overall performance. What you consume in your body is just as, if not more important than physical exercise. Having a proper diet also will improve your mind's ability to focus. Healthy eating and physical activity reduce the likelihood of contracting cancer and disease. You must maintain a healthy lifestyle because it gives you an advantage over competitors, such as better mental focus, attractiveness, and a better chance of not developing illness. Being mentally focused allows you to improve your overall quality of work. You pay more attention to detail and have a longer attention span, allowing you to get more work done. Whether you are looking for a job or starting a business, this is a valuable quality. Developing a healthy lifestyle can improve your attractiveness. It is no secret that attractive people have higher chance of succeeding. It's not superficial, it's a fact. It would be best to take care of your body and physical appearance because your appearance is the first thing people judge when they see you. First impressions are massively important. Sometimes, if you make a terrible first impression, it's hard to come back from. Acknowledgments. There are so many people that helped me create this book, and without them, none of this would be possible. I would like to thank my mother for always believing in my dreams and teaching me that anything is possible if I believe it. I've learned how to overcome adversity by seeing your struggles and how you still found ways to come out on top. Thank you, Dad, for showing me tough love even when I couldn't see the reason for it. You taught me how to be a responsible man and that nothing in life is free. You must work for it. I saw through your hard work and persistence how much you can achieve just by sticking to the plan. You inspired me to get off my ass and make it happen and not just talk about it. To my siblings, you all inspire me to be the best role model I can be, and believe it or not, you guys taught me a lot about life. Zan, you taught me to be unapologetically myself regardless of the opinions of others. Michaela, you taught me that mistakes are going to happen in life, but it's how you handle those situations that will ultimately define who you are. Damien, you taught me not to be so serious all the time because life is not all about goal chasing. You need to have time to let loose and enjoy life. I want to give a huge thanks to my grandparents for always instilling a sense of faith. Honestly, without you guys, I would not have been given the opportunities that I've gotten in life. You've always helped my siblings and I afford to do extracurricular activities when my mom didn't have the money to do so. A-Lux is my favorite YouTube channel. You guys have inspired me so much. You taught me to think like a successful person, and not only that, but taught me how to be successful myself. No amount of words can describe how thankful I am for a platform like yours. You've inspired millions of people across the world, and your content is highly valuable. Napoleon Hill, the author of the infamous Think and Grow Rich book, is one of my biggest inspirations. When I read your book, I knew that my life was going to change forever. Many of the thoughts, ideas, and principles I talk about in this book reflects the knowledge I've learned from reading Think and Grow Rich. Thank you for changing my life.